Dragon Ball Apprentice Angel Chapter 241-260. Chapter 241. She is the daughter of a great priest. Haha, how is that possible? You are the most honored guests, how could we have bad intentions? Palenga smiled friendly. I find that thing looks like a big pot. You don't want to stew the two of us, right? The more Ruosi thought about it, the more she felt that something was wrong, and she immediately raised her vigilance. Go in. Bai Long was really impatient. He grabbed Ruosi, flew into the sky, and threw it into the cauldron. Ruosi exclaimed. What are you doing so hard? How easy is it to just throw it in? Bai Long said with a smile. Palanga. You were right. It's been a long time since you've been fooling around. You throw people in all of a sudden. It's not enough for you. Roger, save me, I don't want to be eaten by them. Ruosi said loudly. A look of horror appeared on her face. This hateful dragon world. These three dragons are really not at ease. If this angel has the power of an angel, this angel must destroy your dragon world. Let me tell you, they have ulterior motives, believe it or not. Roger sighed. What time is it, you still say? Didn't you see that I was stewed by them? This kid is pretending. He can talk. The white dragon reacted immediately. It doesn't matter, as long as they come to the dragon realm, whether it is the realm king god or the god of destruction, even if it is an angel, the divine power will be broken by the rules of heaven and earth, and they have nothing to be afraid of. Palanga said with a smile, this is the same as when we were summoned to their world by Dragon Ball, and our dragon power will also be bound. Speaking of which, Qinglong seems to have been killed by a man named Piccolo King in their world. Bai Long teased that if my dragon power hadn't been sealed, how could I have been killed by that kind of thing? Qinglong's danger instantly darkened. Angel, are you going in by yourself, or are we throwing you in? Palanga smiled and looked at Roger with interest. By the way, don't worry about Palanga, it seems that the soup tastes better when the women are stewed first, and then the men are stewed. The white dragon suggested. Who said, the taste of mandarin ducks playing in the water is actually better? Jailong has a different opinion and is playing in the water. Ruosi said she was speechless. She wants to go out, but the angelic power can't be used. Ruosi can only use the realm of the true god. But unfortunately, Ruosi's true god domain is very low and not very useful. The realm of true gods is equivalent to all kinds of weird magic, such as resurrecting people, rewinding time, healing, changing appearance, helping to give birth to children. Now even if Ruosi uses time backward, she will still be thrown into the cauldron by those three dragons. The white dragon is already a little impatient, so he went forward and planned to catch Roger and wait for a while. Roger waved his hand and said, what do you want to say? What? Bai Long smiled. I just want to ask, if you eat us, what are the benefits to you? Roger asked to tell you the truth, after eating you, our dragon power will increase a lot. Bai Long chuckled, it was you two who came to the dragon realm by throwing yourself into the net. This kind of good thing has not been encountered in nearly 10 million years. Remember that the last time you ran to the dragon realm was a realm god. The last words the white dragon said to Purunga. Yes, it is a real king god, it seems to be a western realm king god. He was seriously injured in the battle with Bu and was accidentally involved. Palenga nodded, speaking of which, since I stewed the western realm king god, my dragon power has not improved a little bit. A realm god can improve so much dragon power, then these two angels squirt. Bai Long's eyes are looking forward to Qinglong, but he doesn't speak, but he is also staring at Ruosi, drooling, I'm from your group, I also want to taste the taste of angels. Roger is thinking, Roger, that's enough. Don't make trouble, okay. Qinglong. Palanga. Shall we taste it together? I had fire below. Roger smiled. Well, don't be poor, you can go in obediently. Bai Long is a little impatient. Don't worry, let me ask again, do you know who she is? Roger suddenly asked if she is not an angel. Who else? Bai Long smiled. She is the daughter of the Grand Shrine, the most beloved young daughter of the Grand Priest. Roger said Ruosi's identity. Roger wanted to see if these guys would be afraid of the great priest. Roger just thought that he would not be affected by coming to the dragon realm, and the great Shingon should not be a problem. Bar. Ruosi's true identity. Palenga was taken aback at that time. Bailong and Jailong were also dragons, and there was cold sweat on the dragon's eyelids. The three dragons glanced at each other quickly. Hee, stop making such silly jokes on me. White Dragon obviously didn't believe Roger's words. The Grand Priest has 3 children in total, namely Karen, Vados and Weiss. I have never seen a yellow-skinned angel. I'm really the daughter of the Grand Shrine. Roger and I are both intern angels. It's normal that you haven't seen each other. Russ said quickly. 3 dragons, look at me, I'll save you, dubious. Impossible. Why don't I remember that the Grand Priest has a daughter? You must be lying to me. Palenga also said that we are from another time and space. Rose explained. Other time and space. Tialong's eyes lit up. How excited Xiaoti was. Great, since it came from another time and space, the Great Priest should not be able to find it here. Palenga laughed. Besides, this is our dragon world, and the dragon world has the rules of the dragon world. Even if the High Priest comes, he won't do anything to us. You are right, you can have a good meal. The white dragon is also smiling so much how comfortable it is. Why don't you put some fire on it? Tragedy. Father's name doesn't work anymore. It's over. Roger, are you good or bad? Do you just watch dramas like this? This angel, did you go in by yourself? Or let us throw you in? Bailong smiled and looked at Roger. Actually, you should thank us. You and this beautiful female angel are not in vain to come to Longjijiao. As soon as Bailong's voice fell, Roger's pressure was suddenly released, only to hear a dull sound, and Bailong knelt down at that time. Roger's scepter burst into flames and hit Qinglong and Palenga. The 2 dragons shivered a few times, and then fell to the ground softly. The 3 dragons' faces became extremely difficult. This angel. His power is still there. What's going on? How could this be? When the gods of that world enter the dragon world, won't they be restricted by the rules and cannot use their divine power? You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 242 The Dragon of God. God Roger, let go of the dragon world. I am special. Roger stepped on Bailong's head with his foot, looked at Bailong with a smile, and then greeted Ruosi. Come out, do you want to be stewed? Ross. You are pulling me. I don't have the power of an angel, I can't fly. I can't get out. Silk figured out. Well, you can continue to soak in it first, I will accompany them to have fun. Seeing the reaction, Roger silently replied. Roger, I hate you, Ruosi shouted angrily. Jerome, Palenga, when you were called to Earth and Namek, you were very friendly, why did you eat us here? Is there any secret in this? Roger smiled and looked at Qinglong and Palenga were ignored. Qinglong didn't say anything. Planted. What is the origin of this angel? 2-3, why is his divine power so powerful? Palenga also has no words. Want to say, very good. Roger stepped forward and grabbed Qinglong's tail. Roger held the Qinglong's tail and circled vigorously. Qinglong felt that he had been turned into a green rope. I said biao biao, I said. Qinglong wanted to say this, but the words that were transferred were not good. So Luoji slammed heavily on the ground. Qinglong felt that his internal organs seemed to fall apart, how uncomfortable it was. This stuff is evil. Say it or not, shouted Roger. After Roger said this, he stepped on the dragon's pant. What do you want me to say? You stomped my mouth painting crookedly. How shameless. Palenga was also shivering for a while. So brutal. What horrible guy are we provoking? Not a rival at all. Palenga quickly looked at the white dragon. Bailong rubbed his head tightly, his body trembled slightly. Great, you are useless, kill you. Roger pondered and said to kill him, the Earth's Dragon Ball will be invalid forever. Palenga said quickly. You think I'll use Dragon Ball? Roger smiled. Palanga stopped talking. Yeah, he's an angel. This kind of Dragon Ball is almost useless to him. This angel, you have thoroughly irritated me. Zilong snorted coldly and stood up abruptly from the ground. Roger turned to the right of the white dragon in surprise. This guy actually broke through his own coercion, and his strength is very strong. It seems that, just like this, Roger feels that the strength of the white dragon has reached the realm of the god of destruction. But think about it, this is the dragon world, the white dragon. It is quite normal to have reached the level of god of destruction in your own world. My dragon power is breaking out. It's still too late for you to kneel and ask for the mirror, otherwise you'll be finished. Beilong snorted coldly and said, you have to figure it out. This is the dragon world, your angel power will be suppressed, and our god dragon will have the supreme dragon power. As soon as Beilong's voice fell, he was smacked by Roger's scepter. The white dragon spewed blood from his mouth, his teeth were broken at the root, and the white dragon was dumbfounded. Beilong just stared at Roger without blinking. How could this be possible when he looked at this terrible guy? Why is this happening? Look, I don't like talking nonsense, it's better to do it directly. Roger said, stepped forward and kicked again. Beilong fell to the ground clutching his stomach. Roger put his big foot on Beilong's face and stepped on his ankle hard. Bad review. Feet feel so bad. Roger reprimanded, or Boo's head is more comfortable to step on, the soft white dragon. Roger held the power and touched the ground lightly. Suddenly, the entire dragon world shook violently. Many dragons flew out of the cave, from the island, and from the woods in horror, making a sound. Scream. In the blink of an eye, the dragon world has been turned upside down. A huge change has taken place. You. What have you done? The white dragon's face changed color. It's nothing, I just think this dragon world is a bit big. I just made the dragon world shrink in half. Roger's smile, the white dragon's Kong shrank. His face became more and more difficult. What the hell is this? Angel, is it really that powerful? Just bumping the scepter on the ground, how could the entire dragon world shrink in half? Qinglong was even more startled. His eyes widened, cold sweat broke out on his eyelids, and the shivering body of the dragon was unable to say anything. Very scary. How can there be such a terrible angel in this world? You let me out. I'm still stewing yarrow on a hot pot. I sensed it silently. Although the dragon world is only half the size it used to be, it still feels a little bigger, and it's a little smaller. Roger thought about it, and he would take a few more strokes with the scepter. God Roger, let go of the dragon world. At this time, a majestic voice resounded. Immediately afterwards, a golden dragon emerged from the sky. How big is the dragon? It was so big and boundless, as if the entire body was extended in the dragon world. The moment the golden dragon appeared, Palenga, Qinglong, and Beilong hurriedly knelt to the ground, the dragon of God. Roger recognized the golden dragon at a glance. The golden dragon is just as good as the dragon of the gods summoned through the 7 super dragon balls. In your world, I am called the dragon of gods. The golden dragon nodded. You are too big. I looked up at you when I talked to you. Roger said, a little unhappy about the dragon of the gods. The next moment, the dragon of gods shrank rapidly. It was just the eyes of the minister. The boundless body of the dragon of the gods turned into the size of a human, and appeared beside Roger. That looks more pleasing to the eye. Roger smiled. From the beginning to the end, it was all 3 of them who were wrong. I will punish them properly. The dragon of God said solemnly, and hoped that God Roger would stop destroying the dragon realm in 4.6. Mon Zhalong said, and found that Ruosi was still in the hot pot. The body was steaming and the back of the dragon of God was sweating and falling. The dragon of the gods swept over with one tail, and shattered the cauldron. Ruosi hurriedly jumped out of it and ran to Roger's body. Roger, I was almost hot, and Ruosi stared. You can't help you. Don't be broad. Angels can't die. Roger smiled. However, this is the dragon realm. I will die. Ruosi said angrily. Silly angel, if I had a good relationship with you, they would take you as a hostage. You said that your angel was taken hostage by them. How embarrassing. That's why I ignored you. They don't dare to do anything to you. I'm here to save you. This is called saving the country by the curve. Do you understand? Roger had to put his mouth close to Ruosi's ear and whispered a few words in a low voice. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 243 Give me 5,000 dragon power. If Ruosi thought about it carefully, it seemed that Roger was right. It's just that I have been stewed by them, am I not ashamed? Sanyu Silk God, straight and very deceitful, the three of them are ignorant. The Dragon of God hastily apologized, and shouted to Pelengern, "Duent hurry to kowtow and confess your guilt." Tiaolong hurriedly turned orange and admitted his mistake. No matter whether it is Pelonga or Qinglong, they are actually kinder dragons. The Dragon of the Gods explained, but they are too naive. They really thought that eating the gods of the God realm would increase their dragon power. The three dragons quickly nodded their heads. Then, what about the Western Realm King God? Wasn't it stewed by them? Roger asked. The Western Realm King God is still alive, said the Dragon of the Gods. After the voice of the Dragon of the Gods fell, I saw the scene. Layla, the god of the Western Realm, appeared at the scene. It was me at a critical juncture that I replaced the Western Realm King God. The Dragon of the Gods explained, Bai Zong, our dragon has a contract with the God Realm, and our relationship with each other is friendly. We will see God Roger and see Ruo. Silk God. Layla hurriedly bowed and saluted 30 times. Since the Western Realm King God is still alive, what did they eat? Roger nodded lightly at Layla and asked God about my excrement. God's Dragon Way, this is also the reason for their increase in dragon power. God Roger, we have a contractual relationship between the Dragon Realm and the God Realm, and we are friendly. You can ask the Grand Priest about this matter, and I will definitely discipline them in the future. The Dragon of the Gods said to Roger, and he gave the dragon a good reprimand. That's all. Roger waved his hand. In this case, Haha Polunga will immediately send God Roger and God Ruosi back to the human world. The Dragon of God ordered. It's better to send this battle angel away quickly. If you continue to toss like this, the dragon world will be finished. Yes, Pelunga nodded. Wait a moment. Roger is not happy. What else does God Roger command? The Dragon of God shivered a little, asked to apologize and let us go back. You think too simple. Roger sighed. The Dragon of God. How much dragon power do you have? Roger asked again. 10,000 points. Yes, according to the calculation method of the God Realm, my dragon power is indeed 10,000 points. Can the Dragon of the Gods nod? The dragon power and the God domain of the angels transform each other? Roger asked if the Dragon of God seemed to realize something, shook his head vigorously and gave me 200 points of dragon power first. I'll give it a try. Roger suggested that the Dragon of God froze and stopped talking. Immediately afterwards, the Dragon of God looked up at the sky, gritted his teeth, and a golden flame immediately condensed in the dragon's claws. It is 200 points of dragon power. Roger waved at the 200-point dragon power. Suddenly, this group of golden flames appeared beside Roger. Roger felt silently. It really can't be converted, which is a pity. Roger was a little disappointed, but still very rudely sucked the 200 points of dragon power into his body. Longly, wait until he returns to his own world, and then study it carefully. Dragon of God. You are so quick to collect dragon power. If you go to the human realm or the God realm to achieve your goals, will you consume dragon power or something? Roger is curious to consume dragon power. The higher the dragon power, the more wishes that can be fulfilled. For example, Pelunga can resurrect people who have died twice in the world, and can also fulfill 3 wishes. It is also because his dragon power is higher than that of Jaelong. The Dragon of God explained, of course, it is also because the Dragon Ball of Namek has its own dragon power condensed in it. In this way, after Pelunga appears, it will realize some high title. Then why wasn't there a way to bring the dead back to life? Roger asked. Because of me. Pelunga wiped sweat. The reason why it takes about a year for the Dragon Ball to be resurrected is also because the realization of a wish requires the consumption of our greatest dragon power. The Dragon of God explained. Dragon of God, how much dragon power does it take to restore the erased you? Roger asked curiously how much dragon power needs to be consumed. At least restore one universe and get 1,000 points of dragon power. The Dragon of God said with a wry smile. So you can only restore 10 universes at a time? Roger asked in return. There is not so many universes that need to be restored. The Dragon of the Gods wiped off his sweat again. Send us some goodies, and we will go back. Roger said, for example, in the major universes of our human world, what are the cores of the universe, where are you? There should be something like the core of the dragon world, right? Shen Zhilong sweaty. Silent for a moment. God Roger, the core of the dragon world can't really be given to you. If you bring it into your world, our dragon world will be destroyed. The Dragon of God said solemnly, okay, then I don't want it. Roger nodded, I am a very talkative person. The Dragon of God is relieved. You take out another 5,000 points of dragon power. I suddenly feel that 200 points of dragon power is a bit low. Roger Taoist Dragon shuddered. Bai Long died completely, and when he heard Roger's words, he almost fainted. Not to mention how much Palenka regrets it. What kind of guy is this provoking? 5,000 dragon power. How dare you? How much dragon power do we have? The three of us add up to less than 1,000 points of dragon power. You directly ask our boss for 5,000 points of dragon power. To be precise, it's enough to come out with 4,800 points, and make up an integer. Roger smiled and was silent for a while. Ruo-si, otherwise, let's have a good time in the dragon realm. Roger looked at Ruo-si with a smile, and gestured at Ruo-si with his eyes. If you dare to say it back, I will suppress you here. Hee. Yes, we haven't played in the dragon world yet. Ruo-si hurriedly followed Roger's words and replied that Ruo-si believed that if she disobeyed Roger here, maybe she would be left behind in this ghost place, unable to use the power of angels. It was enough. I want to leave. Ruo-si really doesn't want to stay here for a moment. The Dragon of God gritted his teeth, condensed a large group of dragon power at once, and handed it to Roger to let Roger stay and play. Maybe there will be some kind of moth to play. Why don't you give him the dragon power and let him get out of here? You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 244 Who Made You Stand Up? This is 4,800 points of dragon power. The Dragon of God said with a painful eyelid, then I smiled. Roger has nothing to be polite, and immediately absorbed these dragon powers into his body, so you can go back. The Dragon of the Gods ordered the expulsion. Good talk. Roger nodded. The benefits are obtained, and if you don't go out, it's a bit unreasonable. The three Palanga dragons brought Roger and the others to the cave. The three dragons of Palanga released their dragon power at the same time, opening up a space crack in the cave and returning to the human world from here. Palanga hurriedly said thank you for your generous hospitality. Roger nodded. Palanga. The three dragons are about to cry. This time, the boss lost 5,000 points of dragon power. I'm afraid that after Roger and the others leave, the three of them will have to be repaired severely, right? Let's go. Roger took Ruo-si and Layla, turned into a bright colorful flame, and fell into the crack in a flash. After passing through the crack in space, Roger and the other three flew out of a stone dragon ball. The next moment, the three Rogers quickly grew larger and returned to their original size. Ruo-si hurriedly checked her angelic power. Wow, my angelic power is back. Great. Ruo-si cried with joy in a world that made herself incapacitated, and made Ruo-si the first time she suffered from the powerlessness of the weak. Thank you very much, God Roger, God Ruo-si. Layla thanked again for forgiveness. Roger waves. This looks like Namek. Ruo-si glanced at this planet. Yes, Ruo-si God. Layla nodded, and recognized this planet. Let's go back to the realm of the Realm King. Roger proposed. Yes, God Roger. Layla answered obediently, "Please hold me." I cast teleportation. Roger and Ruosi ignored Layla, each turned into a colorful flame, and quickly disappeared without Layla. Layla shook her head, just about to teleport to the realm of the king, but she stopped immediately after a move in her heart. These two gods, especially this god Roger, didn't even dare to ask the dragon, the eldest god of the dragon realm. The god position must be if he arrived at the realm first. Layla shuddered. Layla believes that if she arrives first, she might be hanged and beaten, right? Just wait. It's not too late until they get there. King God Realm. Time flies so fast, 3 months have passed in a flash. Old King of the World is walking back and forth on the ground with his hands behind his back. Yes, it's really not very peaceful on the earth recently. Hibbit nodded. First it was Babe, and then it was Super 17. Fortunately, both of them are wiped out. The Vegeta that Roger brought over seems to have improved a lot. The old world king pondered and said that Roger has also disappeared, which is really good. Hibbit said with a smile that what worries me now is that Sun Wukong's gang used Dragon Balls again and made their wish come true. The old realm god sighed, if this goes on like this, sooner or later the old ancestors will have an accident. Is it that serious? Hibbit felt that the old realm god was a little alarmist. What do you say? The old world king glared at Hibbit. You kid doesn't know too much affection, and if you use something like Dragon Ball too many times, it will generate negative energy. Enough. Hibbit scratched his head and asked with a smile, if negative energy really appears, I wonder if Roger can solve it. Easy as you think. This kind of negative energy is not something that can be easily solved by God. At that time, the entire universe may face a crisis. Old King God shook his head. Just as he was talking, 2 bright colorful flames descended from the sky and landed on the realm king. Both the old Kaiwangshan and Hibbit shuddered, and hurriedly knelt on the ground. I'm going. Roger is back. Why did he disappear for 3 months and only come back now? You guys are so brave, you just stood up after I left for an hour. Roger asked with a black face. God Roger, but you have been gone for 3 months. Hibbit gritted his teeth, and Zhao shook his head and said quickly. Oh, disappeared for 3 months. Roger was slightly startled. The Dragon Realm is also a different dimensional space, and the time progress is different from ours. Ruosi nodded. 3 months passed before you knew it. Roger was silent for a while. Month time, isn't it just the contest between Bei-Si and Bei-Shen? It seems that it is still a few days late. Moreover, it is said that a month later, there will be a trial match between the two of them. This trial match was also used by Myers to teach Yebe. Trials. No. Trial match. No invitation. Even if the trial match is swallowed, there is nothing good. However, in the official game 3 months later, Roger is going to participate. Oh, has there been a moth on the earth again? Roger glanced in the direction of the earth. Yes, Dr. Meow joined forces with Dr. Grow of the Underworld to activate Super Number 17, but Goku and Vegeta brought by God Roger joined forces to destroy the Super Number 17 painting. The old god of the realm hurriedly said yes, and did not do anything. Roger nodded. What about Kel? Asked Rose. Kel, is that the female Saiyan brought by God Ruosi? The old realm king asked if there was someone else. Ruosi replied angrily. I didn't notice that the old king god scratched his head. Ruosi hurriedly threw the scepter, and the crystal ball at the top of the scepter immediately showed Kaylee's figure. Kaylee was shopping in the mall, carrying several shopping bags in his hand. Good money. I'm enough for you to come here to cultivate. How did you run to the mall? Ruosi turned into a dazzling colorful flame, swiftly swept in the direction of the earth just as Ruosi left, while Kayla moved back to the realm in a flash. Xian recognized Kayla at a glance. She was shocked and asked excitedly, are you still alive? Well, this is a long story. Layla nodded with a smile, and hurriedly stepped forward to thank Roger this time, but Roger was so happy to bring himself out. Layla believes that if Roger hadn't entered the Dragon Realm, I'm afraid he would have been trapped in the dragon realm for a lifetime. That kind of world that cannot use divine power is really too embarrassing. Like Ruosi, Layla is in the dragon realm. There is no way to use divine power. As for Xian kneeling there was nothing surprising about Layla. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 245 Shenlong. What a tragedy, I saw him again. Even the dragon of the dragon world didn't dare to provoke Roger, and would rather the car donated 5,000 points of dragon power to send Roger away. From this, it can be seen how high the god Roger is. Layla, do you know Roger God? Xin Province went to Layla to thank Roger on the initiative, and couldn't help but ask that god Roger saved me. I won't say the specifics. Layla smiled. I should go back. Roger got up. Good luck. After Roger's voice fell, it turned into a bright colorful flame, and disappeared into the void. After these 3 months of life on Earth, Basie became more and more speechless. It has been more than 3 months, and Roger is no more than that. Come pick yourself up. Didn't it say that we were going to fight Bei Shen in 3 months? Didn't it say that there will be a trial match in a month? Did Roger forget? Also, I have become the 4th rank of Super Saiyan, and I want to go back and teach the other me. Basie is also idle, so after Super 17 appeared, he also participated in the battle. In this way, Vegeta of this era will bow. You stole all my roles, are you embarrassed? Vegeta is very. However, Vegeta also went to Kaiwang God realm and asked Kaiwang God to help him pull out his tail in 647. Then, Vegeta also smoothly became the 4th rank of Super Saiyan. Gitana's lost confidence has gradually recovered some of the dragons coming, and let's fulfill our wishes. Sun Wukong gathered 7 Dragon Balls, summoned the dragon, and planned to restore the world destroyed by Super 17. The sky turns black in an instant. Qinglong emerged from Dragon Ball with a blue nose and a swollen face. Dragon, please resurrect all the dead humans. As Sun Wukong said, he took a deep look at the dragon, but then again, Shenlong, you seem to be injured. Sun Wukong, more talk is useless. Qinglong is black. Can you not get hurt? After sending out the great god Roger, I was hung up and repaired by the boss. Also, Sun Wukong, can you not call me when I am injured, it's too embarrassing span. Well, your contempt has come true, goodbye. After the dragon finished speaking with a black face, he was about to run away. At this moment, Qianlong blinked and saw the Qinglong speeding towards him and saw Roger at a glance. At that time, the dragon's body couldn't stop trembling with fright. This evil is so terrifying in the dragon world, but in his own world, it can't be turned upside down. Qinglong was frightened, and hurriedly turned into a golden beam, rushed to the sky, disappeared into the sky in a flash, and restored the light. Back in time, the scepter in Roger's hand burst into flames, and the realm of true gods emerged, and the time and space were twisted and deformed. The golden light, which had already rushed to the sky, immediately turned into the appearance of a dragon, and then changed back to a blue dragon. So sad. Why are you back? Time goes back to when the dragon just appeared. Dragon, please resurrect all the dead humans. Sun Wukong didn't know it at all. He took a deep look at the dragon, but then again, Shenlong, you seem to be injured. Qinglong ignored Sun Wukong and looked at Roger in horror. Seeing me, I ran pretty fast. Roger hovered high above the sky, laid a barrier, and looked at Qinglong with a smile. Qinglong couldn't stop Duo, his face was pale. Okay, I've scared you, can I still kill you? Roger shook his head, even if I kill you, you in the dragon realm will be fine, right? Yes, but I will lose a lot of dragon power. Qinglong quickly explained below. Strange, why doesn't Shenlong speak? Sun Wukong scratched his head. Shenlong seemed to be very scared. Did he see something terrible? Trunks is thoughtful. There are many injuries on Shenlong's body, I don't know what happened. Sun Wuxian also wondered who beat Shenlong. Xiaofang is also very puzzled. Above the sky. Please God Roger let me go. Qinglong pleaded. Haven't you fulfilled your wish yet? Roger asked. Can I just go back without fulfilling my wish? It is also possible, Qinglong smiled wryly. Look, what is that? Roger pointed to a colorful flame in the distance. It seems to be Ruoxi, she is coming. Jilong's face changed, and he was extremely terrified. I remember that you seem to be stewing her. She is very vengeful, she must have found you, so she wants to come over to you. Roger said. Qinglong's dragon drive was violent, and he couldn't stop shaking. Run, what are you doing? Thanks. Qinglong quickly thanked, and turned into a golden light, rushed to the sky, and it is terrible to want to return to the dragon world. The female angel Ruoxi is also there. Why is Mao himself being summoned at this time? Sun Wukong and others are still waiting for the dragon to fulfill their wishes. As a result, I found that Shenlong duo stunted a few times, and then disappeared. Monkey King and others were all stunned. What is this for? Shenlong, your wish has not been fulfilled yet. Why did you run away? This is the first time I have encountered such a strange thing. Sun Wukong is speechless. Shenlong looks very scared. What happened? Sun Gohan asked. How to do? The devil knows what to do, the dragon just ran away like this. Dragon, you are too much. Above the sky. Roger, if I read it right, he is Qinglong. Ruoxi asked with a dark face. Ah, that's right. Roger nodded. Ruoxi actually just arrived on Earth not long ago, and found Kale who was shopping in a shopping mall. Ruoxi reprimanded Kale at that time. It's hateful. Then, Ruoxi asked Kale how he had been cultivating in the past 3 months, but Kale said that he didn't practice much. Jose was mad. This time it's a competition, you didn't practice. Did you come to this era just to go shopping? Kale also said that she thinks this planet called Earth is really good, especially the food here, it's so delicious. And the clothes here are even more varied and splendid. If you wear them well, Ruoxi had to slap Kale, but ignored the time when Qinglong first appeared until Roger used the time back. Only then did Ruoxi realize that, and suddenly sensed the appearance of a Shenlong. Ruoxi was still in the mood to beat Kale, and immediately rushed towards Nanlong in the direction of Shenlong. How dare you come out? Not to mention how excited Ruoxi was. I have been stewed by you in the dragon world, and you dare to show it. However, when Ruoxi appeared at the scene, she found that she was one step too late. Qinglong had disappeared, why didn't you keep him? Ruoxi was very annoyed. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 246 Bados. Ruoxi, are you here to pit my sister? You can go back in time and bring him back. Roger smiled. Don't tell me, you still can't use the time stream. Roger said to me, I am too low in the realm of true gods, and I can't use it well to go back in time. You can help me use it? Asked Rose. Help you use it? Why? Roger asked back, am I related to you? I am your companion. Ruoxi blinked, aren't you hurting me? You think too much. Roger shook his head, I only want benefits, no benefits, I'm not going to help you at all. How about I let Kale's game abstain? Ruoxi rolled her eyes and lowered her voice, in this way, you can get 100 points of True God domain. Your Kale hasn't practiced much in the past 3 months, right? It was originally the fate of being hanged and beaten. Anyway, it was me, do you think I would agree? Roger smiled. Then you say, what do you want? Ruoxi asked angrily. The core of your 6th universe has not been given to me yet. Roger frowned. Nuclear as my sister promised you, you ask my sister to clarify. The innocent Roger thought about it for a while and looked at Ruoxi's scepter. Ruoxi was taken aback and quickly took the scepter to another dimension, thinking it was beautiful, so I wouldn't give you the scepter in order to repair that dragon. Ruoxi hummed and said okay, then forget it. Roger smiled. Roger fell from the sky and landed on Bae's side. Roger. Bae looked at Roger in surprise. Just now, Roger silently looked at Bae in the air, and felt that his energy intensity was not bad. After 3 months of practice, Baisi was getting stronger and stronger on the way to the 4th rank of Super Saiyan. Jia believes that even without his own guidance, the current Baisi can completely hang and beat Bei Shen. He doesn't know how far Bei Shen can cultivate. Super Saiyan God. Or, Super Saiyan Blue. As for being at ease, forget it. It's no wonder that the heavenly hell of the god Yibei can achieve the ultimate freedom. Roger had nothing to worry about. Gone, good luck to you, Roger said, put his hand on Baisi's shoulder and twisted the space-time ring. The bodies of Roger and Baisi became blurred. Just a glance, Roger and Baisi disappeared. Hey, wait a minute, and me. Wait for me. Ruosi is anxious that this time and space is under the control of Ruosi's angelic power, which was sealed by the previous archangel, and it is not easy to break through the time and space and return to her own era. When you go back, let Ruosi follow Roger, or she can't go back by herself. However, by the time Ruosi reacted, Roger had disappeared. I hate you. Ruosi jumped like a master time and space, the 7th universe, the realm of the gods. Regarding the trial match between Baisi and Bei Shen, we chose to play in Kaiwang Divine Realm. Bei Shen crossed his arms and looked into the distance. Myers and Weiss stood by, silent. The old Kaiwangshan and Xian were nearby, and couldn't stop laughing. It's okay to miss the trial match after 6 days. Do you have to give up even the official match? Bei Shen clenched his fists tightly. Suji took Baisi to another time and space and couldn't sense them at all. Weiss sighed, wait a minute and Roger will come. Myers. I don't know how long to wait. Impatient. Is that the breath of Roger and Beth? Weiss sensed the aura of Roger and Baisi and they are back. Myers smiled and sighed a little. It's a pity, there is no way to carry out the trial match for a month. Why didn't Russ come back? Weiss' face stiffened, and he whispered, has Gu Ruosi gone too? Mers was stunned. Roger did not bring Ruosi back. Weiss was speechless, and immediately got in touch with Vados. I see, I'm going to pick up Ruosi. Vados's chest heaved up and down with anger. Roger, hello no. When you come back, at least bring Ruosi back, right? In desperation, Vados had to go to a Zhao GT time and space in person, and brought Ruosi back. After I came back, when I learned that Kair had not cultivated for the past 3 months and had been shopping on Earth, he was not very calm at that time. Sister, are we still competing? Asked Rose. You shut up, Vados shouted. You are enough. What are you doing in the dragon world when you are fine? Okay now, in this state of care, if you go to participate, there is a high probability of losing 80%. If you don't participate in the competition, it is also considered a loss. Vados was confused for a while. Sister Ruosi, are you here to pit my sister? Not long after Vados brought back Ruosi and Kair, the Dragon Balls in GT space and time finally cracked because they were used too many times. Even the golden stars in Dragon Ball have become black humans who frequently use Dragon Balls to achieve their goals, which is what they deserve. The Dragon of God told the dragons headed by the White Dragon, go, there is no cure for that universe. There was a brief silence. However, after going, if you see Roger or Ruosi still there, come back immediately. The Dragon of the Gods exhorted again. 7 evil dragons broke through the dragon world, and the White Dragon came out of the Dragon Ball, which is a surprise discovery of Yixinglong, and Roger disappeared. So far so good. Jilong came back and said that Luo Jia's presence on the earth made him go pale. Well now, Roger and Ruth seem to have both left. With his powerful dragon power, Beilong crushed Super 4 Monkey King, Super 4 Vegeta, and all the warriors. Just when White Dragon was about to destroy the universe, the Dragon of God spoke again. I thought about it carefully, and I still bring Sun Wukong to the Dragon Realm and let him compensate me for the dragon power I lost. The Dragon of God pondered. So, Sun Wukong was taken away by Qinglong. Of course, that's another story. GT Time and Space, Kaiwang Divine Realm. Lord Ancestor, do we still need to kneel? Shibit asked with a wry smile. Did the ghost know where Roger went? What if he came back? The old king said solemnly, "Let's kneel. You are a genius, remember in a second." Chapter 247 Bados, wool is running out. It's been a month. Gomo also followed the dragon and flew away with a gloomy expression on Hibbit's face. How did you provoke God Roger? Lyra asked Hibbit curiously. It's a long story. This story begins with that book of the gods. You know, Layla, since the Theogony. There is no happiness for our two king gods. After Layla heard the words, she was silent. Layla was even thinking about whether to tell them that even the boss of the dragon realm would rather consume 5,000 points of dragon power than dare to provoke Roger. Forget it, really say it, I'm afraid the two of them will live in terror all their lives, right? As a realm god, it would be too pitiful to do so. Main time. Roger took Basie and appeared in the Kai King Divine Realm in the 7th universe. Huo-zan, Roger, you are back. Weiss greeted with a smile, and accidentally went to a super dragon world. I didn't expect the time there to be different from ours. It was an hour inside and 3 months after coming out. Roger smiled. It doesn't matter, we just waited 6 more days, it's just a pity that we missed the trial match. Weiss smiled, so, can they start the game now? That's it. When Roger said this, he glanced at the old realm god and realm god Zion, and said, isn't it asking you to kneel? How did you stand up? The corner of the old Zhuangshan's mouth twitched, and his face was confused. Xian was also stunned, even hesitating whether to kneel down immediately. Forget, it was you in that time and space who were kneeling, confusing. Roger pondered the old world king god. What kind of evil did the self in that time and space do? Is it so tragic? Xian wiped sweat with the old king god. By the way, isn't Vados also participating in the competition? What about people? Roger asked if you had the nerve to say it. You left Ruosi in that time and space, and you came back by yourself. Shameless. Vados brought Ruosi back. Roger had already sensed the breath of Vados and Ruosi. Immediately, Roger didn't have any hesitation. He directly took out the power and called Vados in the 6th universe. Vados just brought back Ruosi and Kair, and is hanging Kair, a female Saiyan, which is really worrying. Let you go to practice, you are good, you went shopping. I wanted to change Ruosi together, but after thinking about it for a while, my father didn't give up on her, so forget it. Therefore, when Vados beat Kair, he beat him even harder. Vados knew what Roger was going to say. My heart is tight. What's the matter? Vados still pretended to be calm and asked. Teaching competition, you forgot. Roger asked. Roger, did you hear what Rose said? This is Ruosi going to participate in the competition, and I did not agree. Vados simply refused to admit it. After all, he didn't say that he would engage in harassment with Roger, so Roger wouldn't be able to catch anything. Vados, in fact, you can say it directly, if you admit it, I am not willing to ask for your true god domain. Your true god domain surpasses you and my true god domain. If I go back to your true god domain, I will not be arrogant. Roger sighed, and Vados stared. You were not kind. Don't you count? You said that you don't admit to the competition of assignments, whatever. I was thinking that I was late for 6 days, and I plan to give you 6 days. Roger is smiling. Vados smiled and didn't answer. In 6 days, Kale became stronger, and Vados also felt that it was unlikely without using the different dimensional space. At least, if he surpasses Basie or Bei Shen, there is not much hope for Vados to hear Ruosi say that the Vegeta named Basie is still very powerful. I have something to do, so I will hang up first. Vados winked at Roger. By the way, the core of the 6th universe, should you give it to me? Roger said. The core of our universe has not been very stable, but you can rest assured that it will only be a matter of the past few days when it has stabilized. I will have Champa send it to you. Vados readily replied that you said the same last time. Roger snorted coldly. Did I say that? Why can't I remember? Hello, the signal is not good. I hung up 0 degrees Vados and said, and then I got a call. What the hell, do you really use the scepter as a mobile phone? Bad signal. Roger decided to let Vados go first. If Vados loses again this time, there will really be nothing left. I still live in Vados to shave the wool. I am afraid that Vados will even lose the angel costume, so that the wool of Vados will rise again, so the mushroom wool will be cancerous. However, the female angel is shameless, really invincible. After Vados hung up the phone, he gave Ruosi a stern look and asked you to take Rukal to Roger to participate in the competition. You are good. If you go, you will miss this competition for 3 months. When will the scepter come back to Sister Vados? Ruosi is also very aggrieved. I just went to a super dragon world, and the ghost knows that 3 months have passed since I came back. I should blame the dragon world for this. Shut up for me and go back to the planet where you practiced. Vados is tired. All right. Ruosi also knew that she let her sister miss the opportunity this time, and immediately disappeared into a colorful flame. Return. Take her with me too. Vados scolded. Ruosi went back and forth, swept away care. Vados then called Shampa over and asked what was going on in the core. 2.7 Since you have already lost the core of the 6th universe to Roger, why don't you rush C to send it over? Is it okay to stay here? Vados, in a few days, Beerus will wake up. After he wakes up, if you say I will find him alone and use the core of the universe as a gift, what do you think? How about it? Elephant Paw grinned. Are you looking for Beerus to gamble? You can't beat him. Vados shook his head. I didn't fight him. Shampa smiled confidently. I plan to find 5 human warriors, and let Beerus also find 5 battlefields from their universe to compete. Hit is not necessarily the opponent of Bardock or Brawley in Universe 7. Vados shook his head again. Except for the 2 of them, Hit should be able to hang up all the humans in the 7th universe, right? Shampa pondered. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 248 Bei Si vs Bei Shen. Almost. Vados nodded, but do you think Bees would be stupid enough not to let these 2 compete? Even if Bees is stupid, Roger isn't stupid. Vados, my general thought is that this time it was a bet between the gods of destruction, with the angels on the sidelines as the audience. Shampa grinned, looked at Vados and said, so, if Vados, you can find a way to take Roger and Bardock and Brawley away, Vados suddenly realized. Yeah, that's a way too. If Gigi can win back the core of the 6th universe. Besides, in the 7th universe, there is still Brother Weiss as a traitor, if this can't be won. Like Pa, I didn't realize you were so smart. Vados patted Shampa's head and hummed, or why did I not give Roger the core for so long? I'm waiting for the opportunity. Well, I'll arrange this, and then, when you and Beerus set the pig race, I'll find a way to take Roger and Bardock and Brawley away. Vados nodded. 30 The 7th universe, the realm of the king of the gods. The rules of the competition are very simple. The entire world of the king of gods is the arena. Fight until one side falls and can no longer fight. Surrender or admit defeat. Roger told the 2 Vegetas about the rules of the game. Of course, since there is enough fighting, there is no such thing as not allowed to kill, but it is best not to kill if you cannot kill. You are all the same people, and there is no need to kill. Opponent for the purpose, right? Bei Si and Bei Shen nodded together. 2 fairy beans appeared in Roger's hand, and they were thrown to Bei Si and Bei Shen respectively. This is the fairy bean, and to be fair, both of you eat it to restore your energy to its peak. Roger instructed Bei Si and Bei Shen to say nothing, and immediately ate the fairy beans. Weiss, is there anything else to add? Asked Roger. Don't release water, but you will be punished for releasing water. Weiss smiled at the 2 Vegetas. Bei Si and Bei Shen did not speak. Who would throw water out of this kind of thing? Myers, how about you? Do you have anything to add? Roger asked again. Myers' lips moved. Forget it, you have nothing to do with this game, you don't need to say anything. Roger waved. Meyer's game begins. Suijia waved his hand. The two Vegetas stood opposite each other, their eyes filled with endless fighting intent. Let me see the results of your cultivation in another time and space. Bei Shen smiled lightly, and the breath on his body suddenly burst out. A powerful airflow spread out from Bei Shen's body. Immediately after the argument, Bei Shen's body burned with red flames, and his hair turned fiery red. Super Saiyan God. What? Red hair? Bei Si looked a little surprised after seeing the change of Bei Shen. Come on Bei Si. Bei Shen smiled. The breath has completely disappeared. Have you become a god? Bei Si looked at Bei Shen and asked. Of course. Bei Shen smiled. Then, I'll show you the results of my cultivation in another time and space. Bei Si smiled and rumbled. The vast aura, with Bei Si as the center, spreads around. An astonishing scene happened. I saw Bei Si's body, which suddenly became bigger, and even more golden hair grew on his body. Bei Si turned into an ape about the size of a human out of thin air. Even Roger had never seen such a change. Body. The current Bei Si is actually similar to the golden gorilla's transformed image, but his body has been reduced to the size of a normal person. Of course, Bei Si's strength is also the same as the multiple of the golden gorilla. However, because Bei Si does not need to condense energy to create an artificial moon, he is directly transformed into a golden gorilla, so in terms of strength stronger than before. Roger saw that Bei Si had compressed himself into the golden gorilla's transformation after realizing the fourth-order transformation of the Super Saiyan. When he came up and took out his whole cards, Bei Si felt that he was not happy enough. Maybe, Bei Shen still has a whole card to play. Golden Ape. Didn't get bigger. Can energy be as beautiful as the golden giant ape? Bei Shen also immediately sensed the change in Bei Si. Bring it on. Bei Si smiles. Also ball. Is that the breath of that guy Bei Si? Vegeta looked up at the sky, and looked towards the location of the Kaio God realm, although there was nothing to the right. Could it be that the match between Bei Si and Bei Shen is about to start? Vegeta reacted suddenly, and Vegican turned into a golden beam and quickly appeared in the courtyard of Sun Wukong's house. Sun Wukong also obviously sensed the amazing breath from the realm of the King of God. Vegeta, I knew you would come to me. Let's go and see. Sun Wukong greeted with a smile. Vegeta is silent. Sun Wukong takes Vegeta and casts teleportation. Appeared in the realm of the King of the Gods. Then, the two saw the transformation of the two Vegetas. Is that the Super Saiyan God? It's the same as my dad's transformation, but I don't know if the hair is standing up. Sun Wukong looked at Bei Shen with a little excitement in his eyes. Bardock's ancient Super Saiyan God transformed with his hair standing on end. Vegeta's hair was originally upside down, and now I can't tell if his hair is upside down without the moon. He directly turned into a small giant ape. And the energy intensity is stronger than that of the giant ape I transformed into. Vegeta silently looked at Bei Si and made a comparison with himself. Although Vegeta's body became a lot bigger after turning into a golden giant ape. It is a huge body, and will suffer large-scale damage. On the contrary, Bei Si's body is about the same size as a normal person, but he has just been comfortable. Moreover, because Bei Si does not need a full moon to transform, he has no weaknesses at all. The appearance of Sun Wukong and Vegeta, Roger and Whis ignored them. Two Vegetas climbing at the same time. Only heard an earth-shattering muffled sound. The two of them raised their heads and collided, and the two flew backwards swiftly, stepping on the ground, leaving a long mark on the ground. The two stopped almost at the same time. Immediately afterwards, the two Vegeta kicked hard with their right feet and roared towards each other. The two fought fiercely in midair. You punched me and kicked each other. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 249 The Super Saiyan God, but that's it. After Bei Si turned into a small giant guesser, his flexibility was higher than before. Whis commented with a smile. Roger smiled and said nothing. But unfortunately, Bei Si can't seem to sense Bei Si's breath, but Bei Si can clearly sense Bei Si's breath. Whis smiled slightly and added again that Whis was right. Bei Si is hard to grasp the breath of God. On the contrary, Bei Shen knew Bei Si's aura very well. If it wasn't for the other self who fought Bei Si, I'm afraid they would suffer. After all, the two are the same person, and the difference in time is only about a minute, so each other's fighting methods are almost the same. This also gave Bei Si a prejudgment, although it was difficult for him to capture the breath of Bei God. After the two Vegeta punched each other, they both pulled back. Both of them had fighting intent written on their faces. Both performed well and deserved to be commended. Weiss nodded slightly. Don't talk about Roger, you are still very successful in teaching Bei Si. It is already very remarkable that Bei Si can reach this level. I didn't do anything, I just took him. He went to the back garden of the God realm and let him fend for himself in that time and space, without teaching him anything. Replied Roger. Myers widened his eyes and looked at Rojak in disbelief. If that's the case, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. He and Mel's have painstakingly taught Pei to God. It can be said that Pei has achieved what he has achieved today, and it is inseparable from the teachings of Weiss and Myers. Roger said that he just put Pei to God. The back garden of the world is lost, and then it doesn't matter. It seems that Roger's words have no water. Listening to Ruo-Si, they really went to the Dragon Realm and spent an hour inside the Dragon Realm for an hour. Isn't it 3 months outside? That is to say, in these 3 months, Roger didn't have time to teach Bei. As a result, Bei Si fought evenly with Bei Shen, and it was a bit heartbreaking. Am I being taught? Weiss tilde. Roger mused, I don't seem to have taught him anything. Weizen laughed. In fact, teaching is to make human beings stronger. No matter what method is used, whether you take the initiative to teach or find a way to guide, the ultimate goal is the same. If I win, I will feel a little sorry. Sui Jia was proud of Mel's. Can you speak so directly? Ho, Roger, Bei Si wants to win, but it's not that easy. Weiss smiled. Do you mean that Bei Shen hasn't shown his full strength yet? Roger feigned shock. His face changed slightly. Weiss's face was full of confidence. Yes, Bei Shen does not have all the strength of Ping. Snapped. Weiss clapped his hands at Bess. Bei Shen glanced at this side and nodded lightly. Immediately after that, Bei Shen looked at Bei Si in anticipation. Bei Si, this is the end of the warm-up exercise, right? Let's move on to the next part as soon as possible. Bei Shen is smiling. What do you mean? Bei Si looked at Bei Shen and asked, feigning surprise. His face changed slightly, and Bei Shen suddenly had more powerful divine power emerging from the Super Saiyan God. Full power. The corner of Bei Shen's mouth evoked an arc of power. Bei Si was slightly startled. Yes, full power. Bei Shen's face is full of smiles, and his expression is becoming more and more confident. Bei Si was stunned again. How? Can you also get the full power of the giant ape? I'd like to see, what does your full power look like? Is the body getting bigger again? Bei Shen smiled. Forget it, let me learn first. Your Super Saiyan God is full of power. Bei Si said lightly. Bei Si is a little disappointed. Bei Si originally thought that Bei Shen was the same as himself, and with the deeper transformation, it turned out that it was just the full power of the Super Saiyan God. That transformation with the same strength as his own small giant ape. Full power. Bei Si smiled, the aura from his body also emerged generously, and pointed to his nose, I will also. This way, there is no way to count the time to win. Bei Shen's face changed slightly. Myers. What a joke. Bei Si can also use full power. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. Roger just threw Bei Si to the space-time in the back garden of the God Realm, and then ran to the Dragon Realm to play. As a result, this Bei Si actually cultivated to the full power of the giant ape. Bei God, but we finally taught it out. Bei Shen can have the current results, but with our sweat in it, Wes and Myers are not very calm. Goku and Vegeta silently looked at Bei Si and Bei Shen, as if they regarded them as their own textbook King God Shin and the old King God without words. The strength of the two Vegeta is already far beyond their imagination. Boom Monument. The two Vegetas fought fiercely again in this kiking god realm after minutes. Hoo. Bei Shen gasped heavily, looking a little overwhelmed. Looking at Bei Si again, it seemed that there was still a lot of leeway. Weiss stopped talking. Myers didn't say a word either. The two of them could see that Bei Shen seemed to be losing. It's too nasty. The same as full power, why is it our side that loses? Bei Si suddenly kicked out and hit Bei Shen in the chest. Bei Shen slipped backwards. After Bei Shen stopped, a mouthful of blood spurted out, and the red flame on his body flickered for a moment. Zhao, admit defeat, another me. Bei smiled all around, watching Bei Shen's complexion changing again and again with a smile. How? Refused to admit defeat. Well, I have to beat you until you admit defeat. Bei Si smiled, you don't have to be afraid of losing face, we are the same person, and there is nothing to be ashamed of losing to me. Shellfish. What you said makes sense. I don't know how to respond. Bei Si's figure flickered, and quickly appeared behind Bei Shen. Bei Shen's reaction was also very fast. He leaned abruptly, and greeted Bei Si's body. Bei Si stretched out his hand and blocked Bei Shen's attack on Ku Super Saiyan God, that's all. Bei Si chuckled lightly and said, Bei Si clenched the student's head tightly and hit Bei Shen on the eyelids in one fell swoop, and he fell directly to the ground. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 250 Weiss. Give me another 10 minutes, Bei Shen will win. The fierce red flames around God Bei's body collapsed, and the God Bei returned to normal. Bei Si stretched out his golden claws and aimed at the head of Bei God. Myers, what a miserable loss. Bei Shen bared his teeth and said nothing. What a tragedy. This is lost to another self. I feel like I'm dreaming. You clearly have a big advantage. Why is it so tragic? As for why the Super Saiyan God lost to the small giant ape, in fact, in Roger, it is normal, but it is not that the Super Saiyan God is weaker than the golden giant ape. The main reason is that Bei Si did this on purpose. Hidden strength. Bei Si can become Super Saiyan Tier 4. However, at present, it seems that Bei Shen can't turn into Super Saiyan Blue. Therefore, there is still a certain gap between the full power of Bei Shen's Super Saiyan God and the full power of Bei Si's small giant ape. Well, I admit defeat. Bei Shen lowered his head, and his body shook slightly. Bei Shen was very alive, and it would be futile to fight again. Bei Shen also found out, Bei Si still has a lot of room to spare. 367 and myself. Running out of energy. No, to be precise, there is not much divine power. Of course, Pei God can also become a Super Fayar. But is it useful? Myers is so tragic. Lost again. This is a loss. Xian lowered his voice and whispered in the ear of the old king of the gods. If not, Wenwu first, Wu second, the winner is easy to tell. The old realm king answered. Pity. Xian shook his head slightly. Who are you feeling sorry for? Bei God, the old realm king asked. Yeah, Xian nodded. I belong to Weiss and the others. Of course, I have to go to Weiss and the others. Roger bullies me, so I won't stand with him. However, it's really a little bit of love, maybe Bei Shen can break through his own limits and reach new heights. Old Realm King God let out a long sigh. What does the old ancestors mean? Xian doesn't understand. Depending on the situation, if you give Bei Shen a little more time, you should be able to have a new transformation. Sun Wukong also saw it. What? How is it possible? Vegeta's eyes widened, not seeing so far. Since even Sun Wukong and the Old World King can see it, of course Weiss and Myers are no exception. That's right, it's almost a huge breakthrough for Bei Shen. This time, Bei Shen and Bei Si's contest made him realize a new level. Of course, Roger saw it too. However, Bei Shen has already announced that he has conceded defeat, which means the game is over. Even if Bei Shen has a new breakthrough now, it has nothing to do with Roger. Weiss, you said you had to give me 200 True God domain. I was really embarrassed to accept it. Roger sighed, and then added, a total of 400 points in the realm of the gods, because the original pig bet was 200 points in the realm of the gods, so Weiss needed to pay 400 points. After Roger absorbed it, he could only convert 200 points. Weiss's true god realm has now reached 668, giving Roger 400 points. Weiss, lips quivered. I go, there are less than 300 left. This will suddenly drop off the angel rankings. Weiss wants to cry. However, Weiss also saw that Bei Shen was just a little bit worse. What a pity. Ahem, Roger, I have a proposal. Weiss was not in a hurry to condense the realm of true gods, but smiled and said to Roger, give me another 10 minutes, and the gods will. Give me another half an hour, no, 10 minutes, and I can definitely make Bei Shen defeat Bei Si. 10 minutes. You just want Bei Shen to defeat Bei Si. Roger, don't believe me, please believe me. Weiss gritted his teeth. Forget it, I already won, there is no need to continue the fight. Roger shook his head for a minute and then fight again. If I win, you only need to return 200 true god domain to me, that is to say, I only need to give you another 200 true god domain, but if I lose, I will a total of 600 points of true god domain are provided to you, and you can absorb 300 points. Weiss clenched the student, Myers, but tugged on Weiss's arm. Weiss glanced at Myers. Brother Weiss, let's forget it. I feel suspenseful. Myers shook his head gently. I always feel that Bei Si is still hiding his strength. Of course I can see that Bei Si has indeed hidden his strength, but you should have seen it too. God Bei is on the verge of hitting the door. If he breaks through, even if Bei Si hides his strength, it will be of no use. Weiss whispered. I always have an ominous premonition, Myers said solemnly, last time on Namek. It's Brother Weiss, you have to make it up again, or you won't lose so badly. I've made up my mind, shut up. Weiss glared at Myers, heartbroken. Can we not mention Namek? Namek is a gambling game. Now it's an apprenticeship contest. Can it be the same? I have lived for thousands of years, and I can't teach a Saiyan better than a trainee angel. Myers stopped talking, scratched his head, and thoughtfully on the side. This time I persuaded Brother Weiss. If he loses again, Father, you can't hit me, okay? Roger had an embarrassed look on his face. If I really win, your true god domain will be in 10 digits. It doesn't matter, my true god domain has broken through the 600 mark. Without the limit of 9, it will grow quickly. Weiss smiled and turned to Roger's right and said, so, Roger, do you agree? If you really want to insist on it like this, I'll reluctantly agree. Actually, I don't want to win so many true god domains from you. I think the true god domains I cultivated by myself are more useful. Roger reluctantly points you and can blow. I can't keep up with your rhythm. Is there a difference between the real stretching field of self-cultivation and refining? Weiss expressed his deep regard for Roger, so, the timer begins. Roger waved his hand, and a sand and hourglass appeared in his hand. It was exactly 10 minutes. Weiss dare not waste time. Weiss flew away with Bei Shen directly. Immediately afterwards, Weiss flew away with Bei Shen and conducted a secret training. Roger, what does he mean? Let's try again. Bei Si came over and asked with anticipation how boring the game just now was. I haven't turned into a Super Saiyan Tier 4 yet. How did you lose? You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 251 Super Saiyan Blue vs Super Saiyan Tier 4. Yes. Roger nods. He won't kill me, will he? Bei Si lowered his voice and asked with a smile that angels won't kill people. Roger smiled. Bei Si. I believe you are a ghost, okay. Wasn't Babe tortured to death by you and Ruo Tilda C? When Bei Si thought of this, he saw Roger's terrifying eyes, staring at himself. God Roger is the best god, God Roger is the best god. Bei Si hurriedly silent beast's hypnosis, himself. Then, Bei Si found out that Roger's eyes became kinder when he looked at him. Bei Si breathed a sigh of relief. Hey, you still amaze me. In 3 months, you can actually develop this kind of transformation. Vegeta stepped forward and patted Bei-C on the shoulder. After the game is over, I can teach you. Bei-C smiled and laughed. My dignified Saiyan prince, I still use you to teach me. Vegeta has nothing to be ashamed of. I am you, we are the same person. I teach you, always better than when you lost to Kakarot later. Bei-C glanced in the direction of Sun Wukong. Stop joking, can I lose to Kakarot? Vegeta snorted. I can vaguely sense that Kakarot has the aura of God in his body, maybe he will become the Super Saiyan God of Bei God. Bei-C lowered his voice. What did you say? Vegeta's eyelids become a little ugly. Don't worry, before I return to my era, I will make you as strong as me. Bei-C smiled. Are you saying that Kakarot can already be like that guy? I didn't say that. Vegeta's face changed again. Bei-C shook his head, but don't forget, his father Bardock was the ancient Super Saiyan God, and he became the Super Saiyan God. God is a matter of time. Vegeta stopped talking. Bei-C was right. Kakarot becomes the Super Saiyan God, it should be a matter of time. If that is the case, then it will be a prank. Vegeta gritted her teeth and clenched her fists. Bei Gun, 3 months have passed, why haven't I seen any progress in you? Roger suddenly looked at Vegeta and asked. Vegeta snorted and the corners of her mouth twitched. You are so disappointing. Roger shook his head. Bei Yanta was so frightened that she stepped back and wanted to run away, but she felt that she couldn't run away from Roger. I'm too lazy to get rid of you, I hope you take care of yourself. After Roger said that, he stopped paying attention to Vegeta. Vegeta suddenly feels like something is missing. Why didn't he get rid of me? It doesn't make sense. Could it be that there are bigger fills waiting for me? Vegeta shivered again. 10 minutes passed quickly. At the moment when the last grain of sand fell, Whis took the God Bei and flew back from a distance. Okay, Roger asked. Whis nodded, a bit of confidence on his face. I think, let's not forget it. You said that I won your 600 points in the real God field at once. I feel a little sorry. Roger sighed. Whis stared. You won my scepter, and when you won the realm of Vados, I didn't see you feel bad. You can really pretend. Get ready to start, the rules are the same as before. Whis said, no need for Roger to get the fairy beans, and directly cast a healing flame on Bei Shen. Immediately, the aura of Bei Shen returned to the peak state. Whis was not stingy, so he also gave Bei-C a treatment and energy recovery and the battle began. Whis shouted loudly. Bei-C and Bei Shen stand opposite each other. I have to go all out when I come, this time I will not release water again, Bei-C. As God Bei said, blue flames bloomed all over his body. Bei Shen's hair changed from black to blue in just a split second. At the same time, Bei Shen's body even created a blue flame Super Saiyan Blue. What? Blue hair? Sun Wukong was stunned. What a powerful god. It's not a little bit stronger than before. The old Realm King sighed with surprise on his face. Yes, the divine power is indeed much stronger than the previous Super Saiyan god. Xian is also happy for God Bei. Of course, the two Kaiwang gods are not happy for Bei Shen, but for Whis to win and let Roger bully them, lie dad. 0 flowers. Even if Roger doesn't bully him, Whis is still the son of a high priest. Which is more important, the two realm gods can still tell the difference. It is beyond my expectation that Bei Shen can have such a change. Myers smiled slightly, and let out a sigh of relief. It seemed that he should be able to defeat Bei-C this time, right? What is this change? Bei Gun's eyes widened even more, with an incredible look on his face. This is called turning into a Super Saiyan in the state of Super Saiyan God. If the opposite Bei-C, come on. I said that this time I will do my best to I have been waiting for this moment for a long time. But Bei-C smiled lightly and pointed to himself with his thumb. Nose, do you know why I'm called Bei-C? You know, your miniature version of the gorilla is the 4th tier of Super Femon, right? There is nothing strange about Bei Shen. He heard Whis briefly say that the contest between him and Bei-C is mainly about the competition between divine power and energy. To put it more bluntly, it is a boring game between gods and gods. Although God Bei didn't want to be used as a pawn by God, he couldn't resist the temptation to make himself stronger. You were wrong. Bei Si sneered. I can tell you responsibly, the transformation just now is not the 4th rank of Super Saiyan. Bei Shen's face was moved. Look carefully, what is the 4th rank of Super Saiyan? Bei Si laughed. Boom. The endless breath, with Bei Si as the center, rapidly spreads powerful energy to the surrounding, like a 9-day storm, setting off a layer of energy tides, the 4th order of the Super Tia people. Weiss' face became a little unsightly. Myers shivered even more. Bei Shen's expression became more and more solemn. What? Bei Shen's eyes widened. Is this the 4th tier of Super Saiyan? What about the shrunken gorilla before? Gorillas are just the starter. Bei smiled. The 4th rank of the Super Ninja. Sun Wukong looked at Bei Si, and then at Bei Shen. His face was full of anticipation. Ho ho ho. Bei rolled his whole body. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 252 Roger. Give me 3 days, Bei Shen will win. I haven't seen each other for 3 months, just haven't seen each other for 3 months. Bei Si, who is not as strong as me before, has far surpassed me now. What am I missing? Bei Gun clenched his fists, his nails were almost embedded in his palms. Come on Bei God. Bei Si smiled and waved to God Bei. Interesting. Bei Shen smiled. The battle between Bei Si and Bei Shen started again. 2 minutes later. Bei Shen's student slapped Bei Si's face heavily. Looking at Bei Si again, he chuckled lightly, pressed his cheek against Bei Si's fist, turned his head, and looked directly at the other party. Bei Shen's face changed color. How is this your attack? Transforming into a Super Saiyan in the state of the Super Saiyan God is nothing more than that. Bei Si grinned. Bei Si flew up and kicked Bei Shen's mouth. 467. The blood spurted out of Bei Shen's mouth, and the blue flame on his body became unstable. Bei Si's figure flickered and appeared behind Bei Shen. Bei Si slapped it with a slap. Bei Shen's expression froze, and he fell softly to the ground, and the blue flame on his body collapsed immediately when he fell to the ground. Bei Shen was stunned by Bei Si. Myers. That's so special. The difference is huge. In fact, it's not that Super Saiyan Tier 4 can crush Super Saiyan Blue. It can be said that Super Saiyan Tier 4 and Super Saiyan Blue, if they are equal in strength, are not much different from each other. As for who wins and who loses, it is hard to say, mainly on the spot to play shellfish. God failed so badly, mainly because he just learned to become Super Saiyan Blue, and his control of this transformation is not good enough. However, Bei Si was on the way to the 4th rank of Super Saiyan. After walking for 3 months, Weiss wiped his sweat. So anxious. Lost again. 600 points in the realm of true gods. I'm giving Roger the realm of gods now, and I'm left with the realm of straight gods in 10 figures. Weiss wants to cry. Well, as I said, the Saiyans are a fighting nation, or it is more appropriate to take the energy route, such as Brawly, who have powerful energy and can surpass the powerful divine power of Bardock, right? Roger smiled. Westow. Weiss stopped talking. You're right, I'm not going to argue with that. You all won, what more can I say? Just keep the beast. What do you think? Myers, Roger asked Myers again. Yeah, yes. Myers laughing harder than crying. Weiss loses again. Father won't take his anger on me again, will he? No way. I persuaded Brother Weiss not to continue. He didn't listen. Myers encouraged himself. Do not be afraid. Father should be reasonable. What do you two think? Roger asked the 2 realm gods. Roger, you are right, it is indeed more appropriate to practice pure energy. Zion laughed dryly. That's right. Old Kaiwang god nodded. Weiss, do you have anything to add? Roger asks Weiss again. Weiss looked up at the sky. I don't talk, is it all right? Roger just smiled at Weiss. There was silence for a moment. Well, I admit that pure energy is indeed much more powerful for Saiyans than practicing to become gods. Weiss nodded in agreement. No, you are wrong, you are all wrong. Roger shook his head slowly, but Wes was a little confused. Myers can't touch his head either. What are we wrong? What are we all wrong? In fact, whether it is Super Saiyan Tier 4 or Super Saiyan Blue, strong or not, it depends on who brings it. Roger said prudently, if it's the Beishin I brought, the Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue who practiced, the one who loses this time is Beishi. Myers. Old King God. You directly said that your teaching ability is stronger than that of Weiss, isn't it more direct? Weiss thought for a while, but his eyes moved slightly. Roger, according to your meaning, how many days will it take to defeat Beishi with the current transformation of Beishen? Weiss asked for 3 days. Roger smiled, as long as you give me 3 days, without using the extra dimensional space, I can let Beishen defeat Beishi. Weiss felt that he was really beaten in the face today. He is the one with the highest teaching level among the 12 angels, otherwise, how could Beerus become the strongest among the 12 bad gods? As a result, I actually lost to an intern angel today. In fact, Roger is no longer an intern angel. After the internship is over, he is about to become a regular. Also, how do you listen to what Roger said? He trained Beishen, it only takes 3 days to defeat Beishi. Weiss silently rolled a glance at Beishen, who was already dizzy lying on the ground. Weiss admitted that the gap between Beishen and Beishi is really not a little bit at least, even if it is with all his money. It is impossible for Beishen to defeat Beishi in 3 days, but if he is given a few more days, the problem will not be big. God, Weiss didn't shake it at all. If you, Roger, can train Beishen to defeat Beishi within 3 days, Weiss wants to say how much you will pay for the true God domain, but it is a tragic discovery. It seems that there is nothing good about him. Roger sound transmission to Bei Gungun. Bei Gungun trembled slightly, and immediately realized Kakarot, do you know the core of the universe? Bei Gungun suddenly asked Sun Wukong looked confused. What cosmic core? What are you doing? What do you mean by that, Vegeta? If you, Roger, can train Beishen to defeat Beishi within 3 days, I will give you the core of the 7th universe. And give you a glance at Bei Gungun, gritted his teeth, and popped out so many pieces from his teeth. The word, again to Roger, what if I can't win? 1.3 inches. I'll give you back the 600 points of True God Realm you drew me. Roger smiled confidently and made the deal. Weiss readily agreed. I want to see, how do you do things that even I can't do? By the way, Roger, can my 600 points in the realm of straight gods be calculated after 3 days? Weiss suggested, look, if you lose, 600 points will be given to you. You can only absorb 300 points, and there will be more than 400 points in Jubaiken. There is no case, since I dare to say, I will hold the certainty of victory. Roger smiled. Weiss. But you were right, although there is no emergency in my dictionary, but the 600 points of the real God domain will be settled together after 3 days. Roger scratched his head and pondered, speaking of which, if I lose after 3 days, it seems that we have a competition for teaching, as if I won't get anything. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 253 Roger. Beishen, your teacher is not good enough. Weiss was silent. Did you get anything less? Roger glanced at Beishi. Beishi's mouth trembled. Roger wants to teach Pei God to beat himself. This plot twist is so special. Beishi's face changed slightly. No, I must do something in these 3 days. I don't want to be beaten by Beishen. After all, Roger is my mentor. Why don't I put water in the game in 3 days? Anyway, even if he lost, he didn't lose to Kakarot, he just lost to another self. There was nothing to be ashamed of. However, if he loses, it will bring great benefits to Roger, and the corner of Beishi's mouth evokes a shallow arc. Myers. The two of them have obviously read the mind of Beishi thoroughly. I finally know, Roger, why you are so confident. Weiss smiled, but don't cheat and be hungry. At that time, I may make Beishi lose his mind for a short time, so that he won't let the water out on purpose. Roger smiled indifferently. 30 degrees scattered and scattered. See you in 3 days. Okay, meet here in 3 days. Weiss Point. Goodbye Suji. Myers waved. After 3 days, I still don't follow the decision. Just look to the right with the scepter projection. Don't be affected by Chiyu again. Myers made up his mind not to come and watch the game. Although Myers also felt that giving Roger 3 days, it was impossible for Bei Shen to defeat Bei Si, but Myers still had a bad feeling. Weiss, Myers, Sun Wukong, Bei Gun Gun, and Bei scattered. You are gone too. Roger greeted the Old World King God and Zion and said that the Old World King God is the world of the World King God. This is our territory. Where do you want us to go? Why don't you go soon? Roger stared. The Old King of God and Xian looked at each other quickly, and quickly ran away through teleportation. The two of them thought about it. The realm of the King of God is so big, so don't bother with Roger about this little problem. Roger stepped forward and kicked Bei Shen. Bei Shen slowly opened his eyes. When he saw that it was Roger, Bei Shen was startled, jumped up from the ground in a hurry, quickly distanced himself from Roger, and stared at Roger vigilantly. Bei Shen looked around. What about people? Why is everyone gone? Why is only Roger left here? What does he want to do? Bei Shen thought about it a lot. Because you lost the game, so, according to the agreement, you will be killed. Roger smiled. You can't go back to your Emily, your trunks, etc., they can't wait for you anymore. Moreover, you have no way to resurrect, because you died in another time and space. Bei Shen's face keeps changing color. Well, prepare to die. Roger said lightly. I will not let you succeed. Pija, the god of shells, turned into Super Saiyan Blue directly. Bei Shen rushed towards Roger and launched a violent attack 10 seconds later. Bei Shen was breathing heavily, and the blue flame on his body was a little unstable. Well, it's not bad. It's stronger than I expected. It's not a problem. The foundation that S and Weiss has laid for you is still very impressive. Roger was right, Myers and Weiss did pay a lot to Bei Shen. At least, although the current Super Saiyan Blue of Bei Shen is not stable enough, but the foundation is very good. Not to mention, there is no big problem in defeating Bei Si after 3 days. What do you mean? Bei Shen looked at Roger and asked. Do you want to beat Bei Si? Shame before the snow. Roger asked. What do you mean? I still have a chance. Bei Shen asked. Under my teaching, you only need 3 days to defeat Bei Si. Roger smiled and Bei Shen widened his eyes. Real or fake? Why do I feel that the gap between me and Bei Si is not small? Days, can I really beat him? You have to have confidence in yourself, believe in yourself, you can do it. Roger smiled. Bei doesn't speak anymore. Really? I really still have a chance to beat Bei Si. Under the leadership of Sun Wukong, Bei Si returned to Earth for the time being. Hello, Kakarot, can you become the god of Super Fei now? Bei Si looked at Sun Wukong eagerly. Still not good, I always feel like something is missing. Sun Wukong scratched his head. What a pity, I wanted to fight with you before I return to my time and space. Bei Si Ching haha, I also have this idea. Sun Wukong nodded, admitting his own shortcomings, but it's a pity, in 3 days, I can't beat you. Humph, I'm still very happy to hear this from your mouth. Bei Si's face is full of smiles, and Bei's body is surrounded by white ons. Bei Gun Gun, listening to Roger, it seems that you haven't made any progress in the past 3 months. Bei Si smiled. Huh, what do you know? My energy has improved a lot. Bei Gun Gun snorted coldly. Can you become a Super Saiyan Tier 4? Bei Si asked Bei Gun. Can you not mention the 4th tier of Super Saiyan? In fact, the 897 transformation of the 4th level of Super Saiyan is very simple. Bei Si looked at Ruo Bei and said, as long as you transform into a giant ape, you can transform again. It's that simple. Impossible. Why can't I transform? Bei Gun Gun was stunned. Bei Si smiled. Baisi turned into a white on, rushed into the sky, and quickly disappeared. What does he want to do? Bei Gungun is a little puzzled. But soon, Bei Gungun seemed to think of something, his face changed color, and he hurriedly turned into a Super Saiyan, rushing into the sky and chasing after Baisi. 3 minutes later, Baisi landed at Bei Gungun's home in the southern city. Bei Gungun also lives in the southern city. Because Bei Gungun's wife Emily is a resident of the southern city. Vegeta, you're back. Emily greeted Baisi quickly and cordially after seeing Baisi appearing, but then she frowned again. No, you are not Vegeta. Feeling that the smell on your body is not right, Amy said, and sniffed Baisi's body with her nose. Suddenly, Emily raised her guard and stepped back quickly. Baisi, I and Bei Gungun are the same person, okay. Why is the smell on my body different from Bei Gungun? Well, I'm not Vegeta, I'm Vegeta's enemy, and I'm here for revenge today. Baisi coldly hummed and pretended to be very cold. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 254 Bei Gungun transformed into a Super 4. Hello. Bei Gungun also turned into a golden beam at this time, falling down at the fastest speed, glaring at Baisi. What are you doing? Baisi. Don't you know? Our time and space are different. In fact, I am a very evil existence in our time and space. Baisi smiled and turned directly into the 4th rank of Super Saiyan. With a slap, he slapped Bei Gungun to the ground. Then, Baisi put his foot on Bei Gungun's body, and he rolled back and forth. Sure enough, Roger God is right, it feels so good to get out of your way. Baisi smiled wickedly. Bei Gungun was so angry that he jumped like thunder, and suddenly released an artificial moon, which bloomed in the air. After that, Bei Gungun's body quickly grew larger and turned into a golden giant ape. Bei Gungun bombarded Baisi. But Baisi waved his hand gently, blocking Bei Gungun's mountain-like student. Baisi hugged Bei Gungun's thumb, and threw it out suddenly. Baisi was in the air, and the wolf stomped on Bei Gungun ruthlessly. 1 foot. Immediately, Bei Gungun rushed into the sky like a celestial monkey, turned into a golden dot, and Bei stepped forward, grabbed Emily's collar, and lifted it up from the ground. Emily looked calm. Vegeta called you Baisi. I've heard of you, you're Vegeta from another dimension, right? Asked Emily calmly. Baisi hesitated for a moment, then nodded lightly. I'm sorry, I'm doing this for his own good. I hope you can cooperate well and pretend that you are going to be killed by me. Baisi said to Emily with some grace. In another time and space, Emily is after all Baisi's nephew, and Baisi can't bear to do this to him. But there is no way. In order to complete the mission of God Roger, this is the only way at present. Only Vegeta has a deep understanding of himself. Bright. Acting. I can do this. Emily's beautiful eyes widened. Am I going to play dead now? I will perform 108 ways to die. Roger also saw through the scepter. Roger. Millie, Bei Gungun's wife, are you from your little aunt? There are 108 ways to die. At this time, Bei Gungun finally fell slowly. Seemingly seeing Bei Gun roll down, Emily tilted her head and pretended to be dead. Baisi. I'll go. Does my master still have this skill? Dying to die. Real. Sorry for being late, she was accidentally killed by me. Baisi said, and gently lifted Emily up, and Emily fell to the ground, almost exclaiming in pain. However, out of professional ethics, Emily held back and did not shout. Bei Gungun seemed to be struck by lightning, just staring at his dead wife in such a dull manner. Bei Gungun's huge golden body can't stop. Emily Gmi lied can't help calling Emily's name Bang. Immediately afterwards, Bei Gungun's body burst out with a powerful and vast breath of energy, and the next moment, Bei Gungun's body rapidly shrank and turned into the image of the 4th Order Super Saiyan. I can't spare you, Baisi. Bei Gungun's pupils first burst into flames, and Bei Gungun launched a violent attack on Baisi. Baisi just defended and dodged a few times. Baisi feinted a few moves, and flew high into the sky. Well, you know now, how do you become a 4th tier Super Saiyan? Baisi smiled, said something to Bei Gun Gun, and left quickly. Vegeta, Emily also got up and waved at Bei Gun Gun, then Bei Gun Gun was sluggish. Bei Ying Sui seems to know everything. I understand, the 4th rank of Super Saiyan, you need to be protected in your heart to transform. Bei Gun Gun murmured from Baozi Mountain. Sun Wukong's body with fiery red flames blooming, and his hair also turned red successfully. Sun Wukong smiles. Great, Dad. Dad has finally become the Super Saiyan God. Sun Wufan excitedly clenched his head, and asked a little strangely, but the transformation of father and grandfather seems to be different. It is indeed different. The Super Saiyan God that your grandfather transformed into is dark red, and mine seems to be bright red. Sun Wukong nodded. That, is Grandpa stronger, or is Dad stronger? Sun Gohan asked. It should be that your grandfather is stronger. Monkey King speculates, however, if I can figure out a way to turn into Super Saiyan Blue, I think I should be about the same as your grandpa, really. Great. Sun Gohan is excited. No, even if it turns into Super Saiyan Blue, I'm afraid it's not a match for your grandpa. Sun Wukong shook his head slightly. Having said this, Sun Wukong and Sun Wuhan were both startled and looked in the direction of Vegeta's house. It's shellfish. Sun Gohan sensed that it was Vegeta's breath, and he became the 4th rank of Super Saiyan. Sun Wukong nodded. The 4th rank of Saiyan. Is it in the form of a golden giant ape? Is it a further transformed form? Sun Gohan asked. Good. Sun Wukong smiled and looked into the distance. Vegeta, I'm waiting for you. I will fight with you again. 3 days will fly by. Whis brought Bei Si to Kaiwang Divine Realm. But Bei Shen sat on the ground with a smile, seemingly waiting for Bei Si to appear. Mr. Bess, what about Roger? Weiss was still very polite. God Roger explained a few words to me, and then went home. God Bei stood up and said, what does this mean? Just a few words to Bei Shen, Nuo Zhao's. Then, go home. Will this allow Bei Shen to defeat Bei Si? What are you kidding? Roger, you are too confident. Bei Si also silently glanced at Bei Shen. After 3 days of absence, Bei Si found that Bei Shen's eyes had changed, with endless confidence in his expression. What's going on? What did Roger explain to Bei Shen? Can he really beat himself? You know, 3 days ago, his strength was very average, even if Bei Shen completed the Super Saiyan Blue stability in 3 days, but he was in the 4th rank of Super Saiyan for 3 months. I don't understand. Totally do not understand. At this time, the Realm King God Shin and the old Realm King God also teleported over to Lord Realm King God. Mr. Bei Shen said. Roger left after explaining a few words to him. Weiss asked. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 255 Whis. Hasn't Bei Shen become much stronger? Well, Roger is so confident. Weiss laughed. While speaking, Sun Wukong also brought Bei Gungan to a battle like the realm of the king and the gods. Why don't you take a good look at it? In just a few days, how far can Bei Shenjujing achieve? We haven't seen each other for 3 days. Mr. Goku and Mr. Vegeta seem to be getting stronger. Weiss glanced at Sun Wukong and Bei Haha, what's wrong? Sun Wukong scratched his head. Haha laughing. Weiss didn't care about the two of them, he just said it casually. Bright colorful flames fell from the sky, and it was Roger who came to hold the money and waited for a long time. Roger greeted, actually, I didn't want to come, just let the two of them play. Weiss won't cheat, right? Haha, of course, of course. Weiss wiped. Are you still here? Weiss stares. Roger did just explain a few words to Bei Shen, and then left Roger and returned to Bulma's house. Roger already regarded Bulma's house as his own. For Bulma, he hadn't seen Roger for 3 months. But for Roger, he only left for a day. For this reason, Bulma prepared 837 for Roger with the same rules as before. Roger said directly, Weiss, give them their strength, why don't you recover? But Weiss didn't care about that. Immediately, Whis used the scepter to restore the physical strength of the two Vegicans to their peak. Fourth, I originally planned to make you lose your mind for a short time, but suddenly I felt that it was right for you. So, my meaning is very simple, I hope you don't cheat. Weiss told Basie, if you deliberately release water, you will really not be able to return to your own time and space. Roger also added that Roger did not want Basie to release water during the game. Because, there is no need for that. The person I taught by Roger is so powerful that Lord Basie nodded his head. For the sake of this matter, Basie is very clear about what the consequences will be if he releases water by himself. Baishen, let me see the results of your 3 days of cultivation. Basie said. The breath all over his body burst out, energy emerged, and he became the 4th rank of Super Saiyan. Baishen smiled slightly, blue flames blooming all over his body. Super Saiyan Blue. Seeing the change of Dob, Weiss was slightly startled. It seems that the divine power of Baishen has not increased much. Compared with 3 days ago, his divine power has only increased a little, but the only thing worthy of praise is that Baishen's Super Saiyan Blue is more stable than 3 days ago. But, can you defeat Basie in this way? Weiss thought that was impossible. The gap between Baishen and Basie is not the fact that Weiss, who can catch up in just 3 days, admits that, in the case that Basie does not make progress, if Baishen is carefully taught by himself, maybe he can be with Basie in about 10 days. Bay 4 tied. If you want to crush Basie, it will take half a month to say less. Weiss breathed a sigh of relief. Great. Finally won this time. What's so sad? I've never won, okay. Super Saiyan Blue. It doesn't seem to be much different from before, right? Basie smiled lightly, and he was a bit unworthy of Baishen. Super Saiyan Blue is a Super Saiyan on the basis of the Super Saiyan God. It has a strong explosive power, but it also has a very fatal weakness, that is, the power of the Super Saiyan burst out. Baishen laughed and then, Baishen took a deep breath. The blue flame around God Bay was quickly absorbed into his body. Well, now my divine power will not be wasted. Not only that, my strength has also been greatly improved. Baisie's expression became condensed. Weiss' face was slightly moved. The situation is not very good. After Baishen activated the Super Saiyan Blue and restrained, he took the initiative to attack and bombarded the past. Baisiden felt a huge energy rushing towards him, and following his fist, it quickly extended into his body. Baisie's face changed wildly. The next moment, I saw Baisie's body swiftly backwards, and the figure of the god Bai swayed, appearing behind Basie. Baishen kicked out and hit Basie on the back. Basie tumbled and fell to the ground. However, Basie responded very quickly, jumped up in a hurry, wiped the blood on the corner of his mouth, and Basie hurriedly looked towards Baishen. As a result, Basie was surprised to find that Baishen had disappeared. Basie's voice sounded above Basie, and Basie raised his head, terrified. Baishen kicked Basie's eyelid. Basie flew out again, his body slumped to the ground, and left a mark on the ground. Appears just above Basie, under one ankle. Boom. Basie's body slammed heavily on the ground, leaving a big hole on the ground. When looking at it again, Basie returned from the 4th rank of the Super Saiyan to the normal state, and the audience was silent. Wei's surprised face also froze on the spot. The unbelievable face of Kyan, the god of the realm. The old realm god also widened his eyes. Bashenli introverted into the body, can become so powerful. Monkey King seems to understand what Basie how actually lost. Bai Gun said in a deep voice. Super Saiyan Tier 4, actually lost to Super Saiyan Blue. Do you admit defeat? Paygod put his hand on Basie's body and Basie gnawed his teeth. After a brief hesitation, Basie nodded lightly and announced that it would be good to admit defeat. Baishen smiled and immediately recovered too. Immediately after the normal state, Baishen also spat out a mouthful of blood. At the same time, Baishen's body shook and almost fell to the ground. I know, Baishen's introverted and powerful divine power, while improving his own strength, also caused a huge backlash to his body. Xian's eyes lit up, and he quickly told the truth. Weiss was holding the danger and was speechless. Lost. Lost again. Just a little. Just a little bit. If Basie persisted and believed that the person who fell first should be God Bay. It's a pity that Basie didn't persevere and was knocked down by Bay God. I said, whether it is the Super Saiyan God or the 4th rank of Super Saiyan, it depends on who will teach. Roger smiled. Dear, this chapter is over, I wish you a happy reading. *0. Chapter 256. Roger, do you want to come again? Myers didn't come. It's a pity that he should learn and learn more from me, so as to have a good start after the internship period, don't you think? Roger shakes his head. Wes wipes the sweat. Weiss, in fact, you don't have to blame yourself. God Bay was able to defeat Basie because of his good luck. If Basie chose to dodge from the beginning, he would be the loser. Roger said with a smile. Or, let them do it all over again. Roger suggested, who do you choose? Weiss coughed, and immediately condensed a large group of colorful flames. This is the agreed 600 points. True God Domain. Weiss smiled bitterly, the core of the universe. After a few days with Wes, it turned into a colorful flame, and one of them disappeared. I've lost even the true God Domain. I have lost even the core of the 7th universe. Weiss wants to cry. It's too tragic, isn't it? Not coming. Definitely not coming. Then I even lost the angel costume. It's a big loss this time. Should have listened to Myers. Life is so unfortunate. No regret medicine. Even angels are no exception. Of course, angels can cast back in time. However, between angels and angels, the time reversal is the real God Domain brought out by Weiss, which is useless. Roger, who can't go back in time, has absorbed the God realm of Weiss, and he is surprised to find that his own God realm has changed from the previous 316 directly increased to 499, and it was right to cross the 399 threshold. After Roger absorbed Wes's true God Domain, he suddenly gained 300 true God Domain. 300 points hit the 399 threshold. It is still very easy to pass. The true God of the show is 499. However, the angel ranking is still ranked 5th. Because the 4th caravan slave's last true God Domain was 580, after this period of time, there should be an increase. Weiss opened ZZ, leaving Basie and Bei Shen, and did not pay attention to the preparations of the two of you. I will send you back to your era, said Roger to the two beggies. Yes, God Roger. Pacey and Pay God worship Roger 100%. They are also mentors, and Roger is not sure how many times stronger than that Weiss. Roger twisted his fingers in time and space, and with two Vegeta, slowly disappeared into a certain time and space. Sun Wukong, Sun Wushan, and Trunks were guarding the seal of the crippled Buu. Piccolo, Krillin, and others also stood aside, watching the seal that was about to come out at this moment. For 3 months, Dad. Why haven't you come back? Trunks mused that Vegeta would come back. Bic rode. This seal, I don't know when it will be released. Trunks stepped forward and kicked Buu's seal, causing Piccolo to almost change color. You give me peace of mind. Bic shouted loudly. Don't worry, Uncle Bic, what are you afraid of? Goten and I can both give up our bodies. Brother Gohan has also improved his strength from the old Kaiwangshan. The current Buu is nothing at all. Trunks grinned. Trunks was right. Sun Wushan nodded. Above the high room. Roger took Basie and Bei Shen high above the clouds. Basie, let's go down. Roger rode. Thank you, God Roger. Basie nodded and bowed in thanks. Roger smiled and waved goodbye. God Roger, do you also exist in our time and space? Basie asked again. No, I am the only one that exists in all time and space. Roger said that the only thing that exists in all time and space. Basie was stunned for a while, and the cold sweat fell on his eyelids. Roger ignored it, twisted the ring of time and space, and disappeared with Basie in an instant. Basie looked at the direction of Roger's disappearance, silently trance. HMPH, if Kakarot knew that there was such a powerful character as God Roger in this universe, I don't know how he would feel. Immediately afterwards, Basie heard an exclamation from below. Then, a powerful evil aura rose up from below. Boo, Sue Salmon. The seal of Weiss is not an accurate 3-month period, but an intelligent judgment. If Vegeta returns, the seal will be lifted. Now that Vegeta is back, Boo has also escaped from the seal. As a result, Boo got pranked. In front of Boo, in addition to Son Gohan, there is also Gotenks, and there is also Basie Zero who can no longer understand Boo. Boo was easily killed. Basie didn't even shoot. Basie fell from the sky and touched Trunks' head with a smile. Dad, you can count yourself back. Trunks is excited. Vegeta, you must have a great harvest, right? Piccolo asked, trying to find a way to bring Kakarot back to life. Vegeta feels that without Kakarot, life is a bit boring. But then again, Vegeta, you were about to blow yourself up, which surprised me. Krillin couldn't help but say, what did you say? Vegeta seems to realize something. What's the color change on his face? What's wrong? Krillin puzzled. Basie stepped forward and grabbed Krillin. Bald head, tell me again, did I blew myself up at that time? Basie asked with a dark face. Didn't someone come to stop you? Krillin scratched his bald head. Yeah, Dad, that person took you away. And when you left, he said, let's wait for you for 3 months. This is not my time and space. This seems to be the time and space of Bay God. I went to the wrong set. Hello God, Roger, come back. At the same time, Roger appeared in the time and space where Basie was with Basie. Boo in Basie space and space was sealed by Roger. Roger didn't intelligently encrypt Boo's seal, and he also set something to be opened only when Vegeta came back. Because it has been more than 3 months now, the current Boo has long since escaped. After Boo came out of the seal, he went directly to the temple on Earth, looking for Roger's whereabouts. Boo has absorbed Gotenks, Piccolo, Son Gohan. Even Sun Wukong, who was resurrected through the old Kaiwang god, was also absorbed by Boo, and Boo was so powerful that he was invincible. At this time, Boo was in the Kaio god realm, enjoying a delicious meal under the escort of the 2 Kaio gods. Perhaps because Fat Boo directly absorbed Sun Wukong and Sun Wuhan, Fat Boo's innocence was even more extreme. Boo doesn't look very bad now. Of course, it would be unrealistic to say that he is a good person. Boo seems to be in Kaiwang Divine Realm. Roger said. Down. Dear, this chapter is over. I wish you a happy reading. *0. Chapter 257 Crut. My real god domain is 499. Realm King God Realm. Bei Shen was stunned for a moment, not understanding why Boo went to Kaiwang Shenjia Qian. It's a bit far. You can figure it out yourself. For you, it's also an experience. Roger said, if you're lazy, just say it. You let me do it myself. Goodbye. After Roger finished speaking, he turned the space-time ring, and disappeared in a flash. Now, the only way is to ask whether the Kaiwang god can come to pick me up. The Shell god immediately burst out with a powerful breath. Sure enough, the realm god Shin, who was far away in the realm of the realm, sensed the aura on the earth, and even Boo glanced in the direction of the earth. Interesting, Vegeta is back. Boo smiled, facing Kaio Shinto. Let's go, take me there to meet him. By the way, I'm going to fix the guy who sealed me. 99. One can imagine the result that Kaioshin took Boo and appeared next to Kaishi in an instant. Although Boo has absorbed so many people, it is too bad compared to the Super Saiyan Blue God Shell. Boo finally spit out Sun Wukong, Sun Wuhan, Trunks and others, and recovered to become a fat dad. You are still alive. Great. Trunks cried with joy. When did I die? Bei Shen was stunned for a moment. Didn't Dad blow himself up? Trunks asked. I blew myself up. Wasn't I rescued? Bei Shen has a bad feeling. Saved. Trunks looked at Piccolo. Vegeta, what happened to the competition? Vic also asked curiously. Damn, I've exchanged time and space with that guy Basie. The god Baipaya is in a vicious country. Roger really didn't know the 2 Vegetas were mixed up. Certainly not on purpose. Roger doesn't have that bad taste either. Roger went straight back to his own time and space, so Bulma's home said, now your harvest is enough to use in the new universe. Bulma is also happy for Roger. It should be enough. Roger nodded, however, my straight god domain is far from enough. The straight god domain of the previous archangel, but it has reached a height of 10,000. I'll give you a true god domain cultivator. Bulma is thoughtful. Suji has a look at Bulma. How dare you think? If you can do it, I'll marry you. Really, I can try. Bulma suggested, you give me 1 point of true god domain first, and I will put it on the instrument to study. Roger. Are you still going to make it clear? Roger didn't have anything to refuse, and immediately gathered 1 point of true god domain and handed it to Bulma. The realm of straight gods is equivalent to a kind of magical magic, and it does not have much destructive power, so there is no need to worry about Bulma suddenly exploding this thing and accidentally blowing himself up. By the way, I will also study this thing. Roger said, using the power of angels, divided the 5,000 dragon power by 1 point, and handed it to Bulma. What is this? Bulma looked curiously at the golden light floating in the air, giving a sense of holiness. Even when the golden light group appeared, the surrounding sky looked a little dim. Roger created an enchantment out of thin air. At this point, the surrounding sky has returned to normal. What's the situation? Why is the sky dark? 7 Is this thing related to Shenlong? Bulma is amazed that you can actually guess, all at once. Roger smiled, yes, it's called dragon power. Shenlong needs to unleash dragon power to realize its ardent hope, and I'll give you 1 point of dragon power. You can study it and see if it can be realized as a blessing. Well, I'll try it. Try. Bulma nodded, ran to trace and studied Roger, but with a scepter. He called Roger, the apprentice angel Clute in the 11th universe. What's the matter? See Roger. I'm calling you just to tell you that my true god domain is 499. Roger Doc_T_. Krut can't say anything. My real god realm is still in 199. Not over yet. By the way, isn't your true god realm still 199? Asked Roger, taking a deep breath. Can we have a good chat? Straight is 199. You are too much. Roger shook his head and let out a long sigh that Krut stopped talking. Okay, it's all right. Roger hung up the phone when he finished speaking. 0 Clute. Immediately afterwards, Roger called Sabe again. Shubei, let me tell you, I have completed the experience, have you heard? Roger said directly to Saba. What? You say you have completed the experience? When did this happen? Sabe was really surprised. It's been 3 months, and your news has been delayed enough. Roger laments Sabe. It's been 3 months since Roger completed his training. Is this too fast? It's alright, telling you this is actually just trying to stimulate you. Roger hung up the phone after a brief silence. Sabe and Kurt connected. Roger contacted you. Roger contacted you too. The two of them couldn't know more about Roger. They knew that Roger would contact both of them about something worthy of showing off. How could it be appropriate not to contact the two of them? By the way, what Roger told you was his Shaoshan domain. Letter, right? Krut asked about the realm of the real god. No, not a word. Sabe was stunned and asked, what did he say to you? He said that his realm of the real god was 499 meters. Krut was black, so sad face. We are still hanging around in 199. You are 499. This thing is afraid of comparison. Originally, the two apprentice angels, Keet and Shub, were secretly competing. Even if they surpassed 0.5, they only surpassed the current one. The purpose is to create a demon angel. The upgrade is faster than the teleportation, which makes people uneasy. After Sabe heard the words, he also felt that he had received 10,000 critical hits and hurt his true god domain 499. Is that too high? He didn't tell you about the realm of the true gods, so what did he say? Krut asked him and said that he completed the experience 3 months ago. Sabe said solemnly _T. Worried again. Are we both hurting each other? I knew I wasn't on the phone. Roger is honest, he must have guessed that we would talk, so he said two different news and then, as long as we talk, we will be pricked again, so shameless. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 257 Crut, my real god domain is 499. Realm King God Realm. Bei Shen was stunned for a moment, not understanding why Bu went to Kaiwang Shenjia Qian. It's a bit far. You can figure it out yourself. For you, it's also an experience. Roger said if you're lazy, just say it. You let me do it myself. Goodbye. After Roger finished speaking, he turned the space-time ring, and disappeared in a flash. Now, the only way is to ask whether the Kaiwang god can come to pick me up. The shell god immediately burst out with a powerful breath. Sure enough, the realm god Shin, who was far away in the realm, sensed the aura on the earth, and even Bu glanced in the direction of the earth. Interesting, Vegeta is back. Bu smiled, facing Kaiyo Shinto. Let's go, take me there to meet him. By the way, I'm going to fix the guy who sealed me. 99. One can imagine the result that Kaioshin took Bu and appeared next to Kaishi in an instant. Although Bu has absorbed so many people, it is too bad compared to the Super Saiyan Blue God Shell. Bu finally spit out Sun Wukong, Sun Wuhan, Trunks and others, and recovered to become a fat dad. You are still alive. Great, Trunks cried with joy. When did I die? Bei Shen was stunned for a moment. Didn't Dad blow himself up? Trunks asked. I blew myself up, wasn't I rescued? Bei Shen has a bad feeling. Saved. Trunks looked at Piccolo. Vegeta, what happened to the competition? Vic also asked curiously. Damn, I've exchanged time and space with that guy Bei Si. The god Bei Paya is in a vicious country. Roger really didn't know the two Vegetas were mixed up. Certainly not on purpose. Roger doesn't have that bad taste either. Roger went straight back to his own time and space, so Bulma's home said, now your harvest is enough to use in the new universe. Bulma is also happy for Roger. It should be enough. Roger nodded, however, my straight god domain is far from enough. The straight god domain of the previous archangel, but it has reached a height of 10,000. I'll give you a true god domain cultivator. Bulma is thoughtful. Suji has a look at Bulma. How dare you think? If you can do it, I'll marry you. Really, I can try. Bulma suggested, you give me 1 point of true god domain first, and I will put it on the instrument to study. Roger. Are you still going to make it clear? Roger didn't have anything to refuse, and immediately gathered 1 point of true god domain and handed it to Bulma. The realm of straight gods is equivalent to a kind of magical magic, and it does not have much destructive power, so there is no need to worry about Bulma suddenly exploding this thing and accidentally blowing himself up. By the way, I will also study this thing. Roger said, using the power of angels, divided the 5,000 dragon power by 1 point, and handed it to Bulma. What is this? Bulma looked curiously at the golden light floating in the air, giving a sense of holiness. Even when the golden light group appeared, the surrounding sky looked a little dim. Roger created an enchantment out of thin air. At this point, the surrounding sky has returned to normal. What's the situation? Why is the sky dark? 7 Is this thing related to Shenlong? Bulma is amazed that you can actually guess, all at once. Roger smiled, yes, it's called dragon power. Shenlong needs to unleash dragon power to realize its ardent hope, and I'll give you 1 point of dragon power. You can study it and see if it can be realized as a blessing. Well, I'll try it. Try. Bulma nodded, ran to trace and studied Roger, but with a scepter, he called Roger, the apprentice angel Clute in the 11th universe. What's the matter? See Roger. I'm calling you just to tell you that my true god domain is 499. Roger Doc_T_. Crut can't say anything. My real god realm is still in 199. Not over yet. By the way, isn't your true god realm still 199? Asked Roger, taking a deep breath. Can we have a good chat? Straight as 199. You are too much. Roger shook his head and let out a long sigh that Krut stopped talking. Okay, it's all right. Roger hung up the phone when he finished speaking. Zero clute. Immediately afterwards, Roger called Sabe again. Shube, let me tell you, I have completed the experience, have you heard? Roger said directly to Saba. What? You say you have completed the experience? When did this happen? Sabe was really surprised. It's been 3 months, and your news has been delayed enough. Roger laments Sabe. It's been 3 months since Roger completed his training. Is this too fast? It's alright, telling you this is actually just trying to stimulate you. Roger hung up the phone after a brief silence. Sabe and Kurt connected. Roger contacted you. Roger contacted you too. The two of them couldn't know more about Roger. They knew that Roger would contact both of them about something worthy of showing off. How could it be appropriate not to contact the two of them? By the way, what Roger told you was his Shaoshan domain. Letter, right? Krut asked about the realm of the real god. No, not a word. Sabe was stunned and asked, what did he say to you? He said that his realm of the real god was 499 meters. Krut was black, so sad face. We are still hanging around in 199. You are 499. This thing is afraid of comparison. Originally, the two apprentice angels, Keet and Shub, were secretly competing. Even if they surpassed 0.5, they only surpassed the current one. The purpose is to create a demon angel. The upgrade is faster than the teleportation, which makes people uneasy. After Sabe heard the words, he also felt that he had received 10,000 critical hits and hurt his true god domain 499. Is that too high? He didn't tell you about the realm of the true gods, so what did he say? Krut asked him and said that he completed the experience 3 months ago. Sabe said solemnly _T. Worried again. Are we both hurting each other? I knew I wasn't on the phone. Roger is honest, he must have guessed that we would talk, so he said 2 different news and then, as long as we talk, we will be pricked again, so shameless. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 257 Krut, my real god domain is 499. Realm King God Realm. Bei Shen was stunned for a moment, not understanding why Bu went to Kaiwang Shenjia Qian. It's a bit far, you can figure it out yourself, for you, it's also an experience. Roger said if you're lazy, just say it. You let me do it myself. Goodbye. After Roger finished speaking, he turned the space-time ring, and disappeared in a flash. Now, the only way is to ask whether the Kaiwang god can come to pick me up. The shell god immediately burst out with a powerful breath. Sure enough, the realm god Shin, who was far away in the realm of the realm, sensed the aura on the earth, and even Bu glanced in the direction of the earth. Interesting, Vegeta is back. Bu smiled, facing Kaiyo Shinto. Let's go, take me there to meet him. By the way, I'm going to fix the guy who sealed me. 99. One can imagine the result that Kaioshin took Bu and appeared next to Kaishi in an instant. Although Bu has absorbed so many people, it is too bad compared to the Super Saiyan Blue God Shell. Bu finally spit out Sun Wukong, Sun Wuhan, Trunks and others, and recovered to become a fat dad. You are still alive. Great, Trunks cried with joy. When did I die? Bei Shen was stunned for a moment. Didn't Dad blow himself up? Trunks asked. I blew myself up, wasn't I rescued? Bei Shen has a bad feeling. Saved. Trunks looked at Piccolo. Vegeta, what happened to the competition? Vic also asked curiously. Damn, I've exchanged time and space with that guy Bei Si. The god Bei Paya is in a vicious country. Roger really didn't know the two Vegetas were mixed up. Certainly not on purpose. Roger doesn't have that bad taste either. Roger went straight back to his own time and space, so Bulma's home said, now your harvest is enough to use in the new universe. Bulma is also happy for Roger. It should be enough. Roger nodded, however, my straight god domain is far from enough. The straight god domain of the previous archangel, but it has reached a height of 10,000. I'll give you a true god domain cultivator. Bulma is thoughtful. Suji has a look at Bulma. How dare you think? If you can do it, I'll marry you. Really, I can try. Bulma suggested, you give me 1 point of true god domain first, and I will put it on the instrument to study. Roger. Are you still going to make it clear? Roger didn't have anything to refuse, and immediately gathered 1 point of true god domain and handed it to Bulma. The realm of straight gods is equivalent to a kind of magical magic, and it does not have much destructive power, so there is no need to worry about Bulma suddenly exploding this thing and accidentally blowing himself up. By the way, I will also study this thing. Roger said, using the power of angels, divided the 5,000 dragon power by 1 point, and handed it to Bulma. What is this? Bulma looked curiously at the golden light floating in the air, giving a sense of holiness. Even when the golden light group appeared, the surrounding sky looked a little dim. Roger created an enchantment out of thin air. At this point, the surrounding sky has returned to normal. What's the situation? Why is the sky dark? 7 Is this thing related to Shenlong? Bulma is amazed that you can actually guess, all at once. Roger smiled, yes, it's called dragon power. Shenlong needs to unleash dragon power to realize its ardent hope, and I'll give you 1 point of dragon power. You can study it and see if it can be realized as a blessing. Well, I'll try it. Try. Bulma nodded, ran to trace and studied Roger, but with a scepter. He called Roger, the apprentice angel Clute in the 11th universe. What's the matter? See Roger. I'm calling you just to tell you that my true god domain is 499. Roger Doc_T_. Crut can't say anything. My real god realm is still in 199. Not over yet. By the way, isn't your true god realm still 199? Asked Roger, taking a deep breath. Can we have a good chat? Straight is 199. You are too much. Roger shook his head and let out a long sigh that Crut stopped talking. Okay, it's all right. Roger hung up the phone when he finished speaking. 0 Clute. Immediately afterwards, Roger called Sabe again. Shubei, let me tell you, I have completed the experience, have you heard? Roger said directly to Saba. What? You say you have completed the experience? When did this happen? Sabe was really surprised. It's been 3 months, and your news has been delayed enough. Roger laments Sabe. It's been 3 months since Roger completed his training. Is this too fast? It's alright, telling you this is actually just trying to stimulate you. Roger hung up the phone after a brief silence. Sabe and Kurt connected. Roger contacted you. Roger contacted you too. The two of them couldn't know more about Roger. They knew that Roger would contact both of them about something worthy of showing off. How could it be appropriate not to contact the two of them? By the way, what Roger told you was his Shaoshan domain. Letter, right? Crut asked about the realm of the real god. No, not a word. Sabe was stunned and asked, what did he say to you? He said that his realm of the real god was 499 meters. Crut was black, so sad face. We are still hanging around in 199. You are 499. This thing is afraid of comparison. Originally, the two apprentice angels, Keat and Shub, were secretly competing. Even if they surpassed 0.5, they only surpass the current one. The purpose is to create a demon angel. The upgrade is faster than the teleportation, which makes people uneasy. After Sabe heard the words, he also felt that he had received 10,000 critical hits and hurt his true god domain 499. Is that too high? He didn't tell you about the realm of the true gods, so what did he say? Crut asked him and said that he completed the experience 3 months ago. Sabe said solemnly _T. Worried again. Are we both hurting each other? I knew I wasn't on the phone. Roger is honest, he must have guessed that we would talk, so he said 2 different news and then, as long as we talk, we will be pricked again, so shameless. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 258 Grand Priest. This kid can't be cheap. After Roger greeted the two apprentice angels, he called the Grand Priest again. How was he thinking? Asked Roger. What are you thinking about? The High Priest said with a black face. The High Priest is now on the planet Beerus. The Great Priest already knew that Weiss lost to Roger in the competition of teaching. The old man with a face pulled me through the training ahead of time. Didn't you say that you want to give a reward? Roger said I didn't say that. Whether the Great Priest. You want to reward. You have given away all the realm of the true god of Weiss, and you still want a reward. Is there anything in this universe that you don't have? King Quan was there at the time, and he said he would give out awards. Roger said. Roger, why don't you tell me, what reward are you going to ask for? I'm getting ready first. The Great Priest is in the dark and asked the priest to take a look. What else does this kid Roger want? He has nothing left. Is there anything else he wants in particular? Get me 30 medals or something, please, Lord Quan Wong. Personally hang them around my neck as a souvenir. Roger said, well, call all the angels at that time. Well, I will discuss it with Lord Quan Wong. The Great Priest thought about it and felt that this condition could only satisfy Roger's medals, and he fooled Frost to finish it off. By the way, victory or defeat is a matter of military affairs. Don't blame Weiss, who made me a genius. Roger rode Grand Priest. After terminating the call, the High Priest's face became darker and darker. Earth. Wukong, there is an accident in the underworld, can you come over? The Realm King is facing Wukong's voice transmission. The Realm King, what happened? Monkey King asked because the kid in the underworld who managed the soul-cleaning machine did not repair the machine in time, causing the machine to explode, and the evil energy released by him eroded his body and gave birth to a very powerful monster called Xiaoxie Nianbo. The Realm King quickly explained, Wukong, come here quickly, the underworld is dying. Okay, I'll go over here. Sun Wukong didn't talk too much, and through teleportation, he appeared in the body of the King of the Realm and went to the King of Yama. The Realm King said to Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong nodded. After Sun Wukong arrived at King Zhanluo's place, King Yama was stunned for a moment. Is it Wukong, you're here too? King Luluo greeted him, then sneered, but you're late. What do you mean? Sun Wukong was a little puzzled. I begged Roger, so Vegeta came before you came here, should defeat the evil mind wave Yama. Vegeta is here too. Sun Wukong was a little surprised. When did he learn to teleport? It was my people who brought him. Yan Luo Wang smiled. Or do I have foresight? As soon as the evil thoughts wave appeared, King Zhanluo sent the kid to contact Roger and asked Roger to help Roger. For the sake of being more obedient to King Luluo, he asked Vegeta to help King Zhanluo, and Sun Wukong quickly entered the evil thoughts. The place where Bo did evil is not the case. The evil thought Bo is being beaten by Vegeta. At this time, Vegeta has become the fourth order evil thought wave of the Super Saiyan. Where is the opponent of the Super 4 Vegeta, who was beaten by Vegeta and suspected that the evil thought wave event of life came and went quickly? In the end, Vegeta easily solved the wave of evil thoughts. From beginning to end, Sun Wukong did not make a move. Vegeta, that's amazing. Sun Wukong also smiled at Kakarot at Vegeta. Do we want to learn from each other? Vegeta smiled and looked at Sun Wu with a warlike expression. After a few days, I suddenly remembered, I forgot to eat lunch. Sun Wukong scratched his head, turned around. Sun Wukong moved through teleportation, and disappeared in a flash. Beerus Planet. The High Priest looked at Weiss silently. Weiss scratched his head and smiled wryly. So miserable. There's almost nothing left now. I have to figure out a way to get things back. I can't afford this kid. The Grand Priest said with a black face. What can father do? Weiss asked. It would be inappropriate for me to be involved. The Grand Priest shook his head. You take the time to find Karen. Maybe he has a solution, or a few of your brothers and sisters, and Australia can discuss it together. Father. Weiss nodded and the Grand Priest said nothing. Void 1. After kicking out, the figure of the great priest became illusory. Beerus, who was sleeping soundly, flew out at that time, penetrated the palace, fell outside, and rolled several somersaults on the ground. Meow. Beerus yawned, opened his hazy eyes, and looked around. How did you do it? How did I get out of the palace? Who kicked me just now? Beerus stretched his waist, washed his face with his claws, and gradually became sober. Wes, Wes, Wes. Beerus shouted loudly. What? Weiss walked over slowly and gave Beerus a stern look to see if Ben Angel was in a bad mood. You black cat, you know how to sleep. Beerus 240 was slightly startled, and looked at Weiss in a daze. How did Weiss' character get weird? He used to be easygoing. What happened to him? What year is it? This put on the God of Destruction outfit. Earth time, I-768. Weiss' expression is indifferent to Earth time. Are the years according to Earth time? Why is it not according to God's history? Strange, why is my palace in such a mess? Beerus glanced at his palace in the distance. Did you forget? You woke up once 4 years ago and beat up Tess in Universe 11. Weiss reminded while covering the danger. Tispo, Universe 11. Why did I beat him? Bikens was stunned for a while, and he couldn't remember the awakening of your relationship 4 years ago. You were sleepwalking. Weiss shook his head. 11 Universe, and then beat up Tease. Beerus can laugh. Let's not talk about the past. Are you awake this time? Weiss looked at Beerus silently and felt angry when he thought about it. Especially this Beerus, it's even more irritating. If you don't fall asleep, Beerus, how can I go to Roger Pig race so boring? You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 259 Beerus awakens. Weiss's mentality changed. For a time, he felt that it was all Beez's fault. If Beerus was still awake, he should have a lot of work to do, so he wouldn't bet against Roger. However, there is no such thing as a whoever replaces it, loses nothing, and the mentality will also collapse. The same is true for Weiss. I really woke up this time. Beerus said, stretched again, and yawned. Weiss wanted to go up and kick Beerus to death, but Beerus knocked on his forehead. By the way, while I was sleeping, I seemed to have a dream of the Super Saiyan God, and we had a good fight for a while. Beerus remembered the past and said something to Jovis, the Super Saiyan God. Wizmer. It's the age of Super Saiyan Blue and Super Saiyan Tier 4, you still the Super Saiyan God? Weiss stopped talking. Yes, the Super Demi-Human God, the strength is comparable to my soul body. Beerus thought that Weiss heard it, and smiled at Weiss, so, the so-called Super Saiyan God should have something to do with Saiyans. By the way, didn't I let Frieza destroy planet Vegeta? The Saiyans above are dead, did you really forget them? Weiss is tired. Didn't you wake up once in the middle? Are you really sleepwalking? Weiss suddenly felt that Tess from Universe 11 was enough to be beaten by Beerus, who was sleepwalking, and he told me that I was sleepwalking. I really don't remember. Beerus shook his head. Wes, you know, when you were sleepwalking, it is difficult to have memories. Tell me, what happened at that time? That's all, it's not a big deal. Weiss is too lazy to explain so much because there are so many things to say. Beerus woke up in the middle, and if he wanted to understand it, at least he had to start with Roger and the 2 apprentice angels. Apprentice Angel, you won't forget it too. Weiss asked the apprentice angel. What's the situation? Beasts really didn't remember it. Why do I think this name sounds familiar? You just pretend I didn't say it. Weiss shook his head. Weiss even tried to knock Beerus out. Sometimes Weiss wondered if he had beaten Beerus in the head so many times that he liked sleeping so much. Then you help me investigate, does the planet Bay Yante still exist? Are the Saiyans still alive? Asked Beerus. Planet Vegeta is dead, and Frieza is dead. Currently, all Saiyans are in the Milky Way, an Earth planet. Weiss sighed, if you are interested, you can go to the Earth and go around the Earth. Why are they all on Earth? What about planet Vegeta? What about Frieza? Beerus asked about Frieza's death. Whatever. Frieza was destroyed by the Saiyans, and although planet Vegeta was destroyed, a few Saiyans survived. Weiss was tired. Okay, I've said what I have to say. You can understand it yourself. I still have something to do. After Weiss finished speaking, it turned into a bright colorful flame, and disappeared in a flash. 20 minutes later, Weiss appeared on the planet Champa and found Vados. Bardos is very happy. It's okay, this time I'm really too smart, and I feel that my whole body hurts even if I didn't participate in the teaching program. After all, I have already cultivated the True God domain to 323. Look at Wes again, there is only 68 points left in the realm of True Gods. Speaking of which, Vados was even thinking about it. Would you like to thank Ruosi well? This time, if Ruosi hadn't trained Kair, maybe she would have to follow her father's will and let Brother Kellen come over and let us discuss it together. Vados asked. Korin's temper is not very good, won't he fight with Roger? Vados sighed. Yes, this is also a headache for us. Weiss nodded. However, Korin should not be able to fight Roger. Kellen is also a battle angel. Vados pondered, but Roger is the future archangel, and the power of the angel is currently only comparable to Ruosi. Headache. Weiss covered his face and stopped talking. Champa, come here and talk about your plan. Vados greeted Champa. Dao Champa came forward and told Weiss about his previous plan. Only the god of destruction will participate. Angels will not participate. Weiss thought thoughtfully, but, you win. Get nothing. Weiss, have you forgotten? The ownership of the core of the universe is actually a competition between the state and the god of destruction, and the competition between the gods of destruction can truly determine the ownership of the core of the universe. Vados said with a smile, even if I would rather go to Lord Quanwang to reason with him, it is clear that Weiss will not speak. Sister, if you want to default on your debt, just say it directly. That's it, let Champa compete with Beerus, the 5 human races, the victorious universe, and get the core of each other's universe. Vados rode. Even if you win, you have obtained the core of the 7th universe and the core of the 6th universe and returned it to Roger. You promised this. Weiss shook his head. I can exchange the core of the 7th universe for the core of our universe. Vados giggles. What about the core of our universe? Weiss asked. This is your own business, you can think of a way. If it doesn't work, let Beerus and Champa play again. Vados proposes. If my sister insists on doing this, it is also feasible. It just so happens that Roger asks Lord Quanwang to give him a prize, and then let him go to Lord Quanwang's palace. Weiss said, well, by the way, when the awards are presented, all the angels are going to be there. Vados. Roger, what a showy woman you are. Let all the angels watch you accept the award from Lord Quanwang. Who can take away the Bardock and Brawley of your universe? Vados asked again. I said hello to Mr. Monkey King in advance, let Monkey King be the leader, and let Monkey King choose the human warriors to appear. I believe that Monkey King will not choose Bardock and Brawley. Weiss smiled slightly. Are you sure? Vados is worried. Yes, Saiyans are very aggressive. If Sun Wukong chooses Bardock and Brawley, he will think that he has no chance to play and will not choose. Weiss smiled, then shook his head and said, but don't be too careless with Hit. Vegeta on our side should be no less powerful than Hit. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 260 Beerus, do you know Saiyans? What? That babe. Slight discoloration on Vados' lids. Yes, B-roll. Weiss nodded. Impossible, Bae Gungan's strength a while ago was still average, how could he improve so quickly? Vados asked. Not only Vegeta, I am afraid that Sun Wukong's strength has also improved by leaps and bounds. Weiss pondered, if my elder sister is going to rely on Hit, I guess it's a little suspicious. I know, I will readjust again. Vados thought for a while and decided to change the person who changed the game's 7th universe, Planet Beerus. Weiss, this guy, he's very arrogant. Vixus shook his head, huh. I seem to have said this before. Forget it for now, I'll go and see what Super Saiyan God is. Brief silence. It's been a long time since Zhao Defei. Weiss, what are you doing? Beerus looked up to the sky and sighed. Beerus turned into a colorful flame and rushed to the sky pool ball universe, the Earth. Bulma, it's just a birthday, as for calling so many people. Roger couldn't help shaking his head slightly as he watched Bulma busy there. Of course, 150. I want to live every birthday as my last. Bulma rode Roger. Are you dying soon? Roger asked. Crow mouth. It's my birthday and you say I'm dying soon. Boolean. Don't worry, even if you die, I can revive you and don't care. What you said was right. Bulma was speechless and had to answer. I'm not thinking. Roger, is your new universe about to stabilize? When you take over the new universe, I will also leave the Earth, and I will not be able to see these friends on the Earth at that time. So that's why, every birthday of mine, it is impossible for my friends to celebrate for me. And bring the Earth to the new universe. Roger pondered. Can I take it with you? Bulma was surprised. It shouldn't be a big problem, isn't there a super dragon? Did Roger laugh at the dragon of God? Is that the 1 point of golden flame you condensed last time? Bulma asked. Yes, the dragon of God can fulfill all wishes. Roger nodded. If it doesn't work, let the dragon of the gods transfer the Earth to a new universe. That's great, it just so happens that the friends are all on Earth. While Bulma nodded and spoke, Bulma's friends all came one by one. Even Bardock and Wisajin also prepared gifts and came to celebrate Bulma's birthday party at Bulma's host at home. After that, many soldiers also arrived one after another. Even Bulma even made an invitation on the 18th. Roger doesn't know how Bulma got in touch with number 18. 17th didn't come. 18 said that number 17 needed to look at the animals on the Muscle Island and couldn't get away. Sun Wukong didn't come either. Sun Wukong has made a wish through Namek's dragon Purunga to restore Kaiwang's planet. Sun Wukong feels that it is a very good choice to cultivate on the planet of the Realm King. Xiao Wukong now believes that he is not Bei Gungun's opponent, so he must step up his training to defeat Bei Gungun first. Then, go to challenge the father. Finally, go to challenge Luo. Sun Wukong set himself a goal. Beerus was flying, and suddenly he saw Kaiwang. Someone is cultivating on Zhuang. Beerus was stunned for a moment, changed his direction, and quickly swept toward the position of Kaiwang. Beerus descended from the sky and landed on Chiron. The king of the Northern Realm, who was watching Sun Wukong's practice, was stunned for a while, then looked up at Beerus. Then, the king of the realm glanced violently, and his face became extremely ugly. Yes, it's Lord Beerus. Zhuang hurriedly ran over and knelt down. Lord Zhuang, who is he? Sun Wukong DADB stopped cultivating and looked at Baru curiously. Goku, he is the god of destruction. Beerus. Don't be rude, Kaiwang hurriedly said. God of destruction. I seem to have heard that it is very powerful. Sun Wukong suddenly came to his senses, looked at Ruo Beerus with war intent, and asked, I don't know if you are stronger, or is Roger stronger? Zhuang Yiba Shui slapped Sun Wukong on the head. Lord Realm, why are you hitting me? Sun Wukong scratched his head. The king of the Northern Realm, please stop now, let him finish his words, I am very interested. Beerus snorted, his eyes narrowed slightly. The Realm King was honest. You go on. Beerus smiled, you said just now, am I stronger, or who is stronger? Roger, don't you know him? Sun Wukong asked. The name sounds familiar, but I can't remember. Beerus knocking on his forehead. How come you don't even know Roger? Are you too rude? Shut up, I don't need you to remind me. Beerus snorted coldly, if you dare to talk nonsense, I don't mind destroying you. I think about it, I destroyed the appearance of this planet, it seems to be relatively big in the past. Realm King. You can remember. God of destruction, may I challenge you to try? Sun Wukong's fighting spirit emerges. What's your name? Beerus looked at Sun Wukong and asked Sun Wukong. Do you know Saiyans? Beerus is not interested in Sun Wukong as a Saiyan. I am a Saiyan, Sun Wukong replied. Oh, are you a Fi? Virustin came to the spirit. So, you know something about the Super Saiyan God. You know, I am. Sun Wukong nodded. God of destruction, you are amazing. You also know the Super Saiyan God. What? Are you the Super Saiyan God? Virus stepped forward and looked at him a little bit like Sun Wukong, and said in a low voice, it's a bit like, it looks very similar to the Super Saiyan God in my dream. However, you seem to be very ordinary. The person you're talking about isn't my father, is it? Sun Wukong asked. Who is your father? Virus curiously asked if my father was Bardock. Sun Wukong replied. Bardock. Haven't heard of it, maybe heard of it, but can't remember. Virus knocked on the head. Why do I suddenly remember that Vis was knocking me on the head with a scepter? Did I lose a lot of memory thieves by being knocked by Vis? Vis, you have enough brains. You sleep, why have you forgotten so many things? Forget it, I still don't talk anymore. I said you're going to embarrass me. How busy am I? The king simply pretended not to know. Let him. You are a genius, remember in a second.